एशिया है, दुनिया में किसी भी लिटरेचर में नहीं है, वहीं पर धर्म युद्ध हुआ है। इसलिए घर में धर्म माने धर्मपति के साथ अगर युद्ध हो रहा है, वो महाभारत होने से क्या दिक्कत है? वो महाभारत है। आगे हाँ कर सकते हैं। नमस्ते सभाए, आज के चौथा सत्र में हम लोग अभी खड़े हैं। इस सत्र के अध्यक्षता करने के लिए सम्माननीय गुरविंदर कौर मैडम यहाँ पर पधारे हुए हैं। आपका स्वागत है। आप आइए। और हो जाइए। इसमें 6 लोगों का पत्रवाचन होगा। 5 से 6 मिनट तक की समय है, क्योंकि इस सत्र में आपकी अध्यक्षता में जो होने जा रहा है, इस सत्र में नारी का विधि पक्ष में आप तो लॉ डिपार्टमेंट के अध्यक्षा है, हमारे जो पांडिचेरी विश्वविद्यालय के। इनसे हम लोग तो सुनना चाहते हैं, हमें तो सुनना चाहिए। विधि पक्ष में आप लोग माने स्त्री लोग कहाँ पर है, आप लोग कहाँ पर टिके हैं करके इनके द्वारा आप लोग सुनेंगे। हम लोग तो सुन चुके हैं, पुरुष लोग तो, इसलिए इनके द्वारा हम लोग सुनने के लिए आप लोग तैयार रहेंगे। इसलिए 5 to 6 मिनट ही निर्धारित है। कृपया उसका पालन करके आगे का संचालन के लिए मैडम से मैं प्रार्थना करता हूँ। और स्वागत करने के लिए उत्तरा मैडम। दे दो, उसके साथ दे दो। बस। जयदीप मंडल।
हेलो, उपस्थित सभी को मेरा प्रणाम। मेरा जो टॉपिक है ये है गार्गी ऋषिका की भारतीय दर्शन और वैदिक समाज की प्रेरणा। ऋषिका गार्गी भारतीय दर्शन की वो स्तंभ है जिन्होंने न केवल वैदिक युग के महिलाओं की भूमिका को परिभाषित किया, बल्कि उनके योगदान ने सत्य, ज्ञान और आत्मिक उन्नति की दिशा में नई राहें खोले। उपनिषदों में उनका उल्लेख उनके गहरे दार्शनिक दृष्टिकोण और निर्भीक प्रश्नों के लिए जाना जाता है। वो केवल ब्रह्म और आत्मा जैसे गूढ़ विषयों पर चर्चा करने वाली महिला विद्वान नहीं थी, बल्कि उनके जीवन ने इस बात का प्रमाण प्रस्तुत किया कि वैदिक समाज में महिलाएं भी दार्शनिक चिंतन और सत्य की खोज में पुरुषों के समान भागीदारी थी। वैदिक समाज में महिलाएं वेद, शास्त्र और धर्म के अध्ययन में पूरी तरह से सक्षम थी। वेदों में कई स्थानों पर महिलाओं को ज्ञान के सम्मानित किया गया और कई प्रमुख महिलाओं के नाम लिया गया है, जिनमें ऋषिका गार्गी प्रमुख है। उदाहरण के रूप में लोपामुद्रा, घोषा, मैत्री और आत्री जैसे विदुषियों का नाम लिया जा सकता है, जिन्होंने वैदिक साहित्य और दार्शनिक विचारों में महत्वपूर्ण योगदान दिया। गार्गी ने इन महिलाओं की परंपरा को पालन किया और अपने ज्ञान से समाज को प्रभावित किया। गार्गी ने वेदों, उपनिषद और दर्शन शास्त्रों का गहन अध्ययन किया। उनके अध्ययन का मुख्य उद्देश्य ब्रह्म और आत्मा की रहस्यों को समझना था। उन्होंने न केवल पारंपरिक शिक्षा को अपनाया, बल्कि उनमें सुधार भी किया और ब्रह्म ज्ञान की उच्चतम समझ प्राप्त की। गार्गी ने उस समय की सबसे बड़ी बौद्धिक राजा जनक की सभा में भागीदारी। गार्गी ने उस समय की सबसे बड़ी बौद्धिक बहस का हिस्सा बना, जब वो राजा जनक की सभा में शामिल हुए। राजा जनक की सभा में न केवल ऋषि और पंडित बल्कि प्रत्येक बुद्धिमान व्यक्ति को आमंत्रित किया जाता था। गार्गी ने वहाँ याज्ञवल्क्य और अन्य विद्वानों से ब्रह्म, आत्मा और सृष्टि के बारे में कठोर प्रश्न किए। उनके साहस और तर्क शक्ति उस समय की सामाजिक सुंदरता को दर्शाता है। बृहदारण्यक उपनिषद में गार्गी की भूमिका। गार्गी की नाम बृहदारण्यक उपनिषद में मुख्य रूप से लिया गया है। गार्गी ने याज्ञवल्क्य से पूछा, ये पूरी सृष्टि किस पर आधारित है? याज्ञवल्क्य ने उत्तर दिया कि सृष्टि जल, वायु, अग्नि और आकाश पर आधारित है। यह उत्तर ब्रह्म के तत्वज्ञान और उनके इशारा करता है जिनमें ब्रह्म का संबंध इन सभी तत्वों से जोड़ा गया है। गार्गी ने फिर से पूछा, आकाश किस पर आधारित है? याज्ञवल्क्य ने इसे ब्रह्म पर आधारित बताया। उन्होंने ब्रह्म को अक्सर अनिर्वचनीय अक्सर यानी अनिर्वचनीय कहा, यानी ऐसा तत्व जो ना तो जन्म लेता है, ना तो मरता है और ना ही तो बदलता है। गार्गी ने इस उत्तर को ये समझा कि ब्रह्म विचारों और संवेदनाओं से परे है और वास्तविकता का मूल आधार है। गार्गी ने आत्मा और ब्रह्म के संबंध को स्पष्ट किया। उनके अनुसार आत्मा का मूल ब्रह्म है और ये केवल एक व्यक्तिगत चेतना नहीं है, बल्कि ये समग्र चेतना का हिस्सा है। आत्मा और ब्रह्म दोनों का परस्पर संबंध जीवन के गहरे उद्देश्य और सत्य को समझने में सहायक है। गार्गी ने जीवन का उद्देश्य को सच्चाई, ज्ञान और आत्मशुद्धि में खोजा। उनका ये मानना था कि एक व्यक्ति का मुख्य उद्देश्य केवल भौतिक सुख नहीं, बल्कि आत्मा की उन्नति और ब्रह्म से मिलन है। गार्गी ने हमेशा सत्य की खोज को सर्वोपरि रखा। उनका जीवन ये सिखाता है कि ज्ञान की प्राप्ति न केवल व्यक्तिगत लाभ के लिए है, बल्कि समाज के लिए भी महत्वपूर्ण है। गार्गी का दार्शनिक दृष्टिकोण आज भी प्रासंगिक, क्योंकि उन्होंने ब्रह्म, आत्मा और सृष्टि के बारे में जिन सवालों को उठाया आज भी दार्शनिक और वैज्ञानिकों के लिए अध्ययन और शोध का विषय बने हुए हैं। उनके द्वारा पूछे गए गहरे सवालों का आधुनिक और दार्शनिक और वैज्ञानिक द्वारा पुनः मूल्यांकन किया जा रहा है। गार्गी के विचारों में एक गहरी वैज्ञानिक सोच की झलक मिलती है। जैसे उन्होंने ब्रह्म के अस्तित्व को समझने के लिए जो विचार प्रस्तुत किए, जो आज अस्तित्ववादी और धार्मिक दृष्टिकोण में समानता रखते हैं, उनके दृष्टिकोण और बौद्धिक प्रभाव आज भी देखा जा सकता है, और जहां अस्तित्व के पारंपरिक और आधुनिक परिभाषाओं पर विमर्श जारी है। गार्गी ने सृष्टि और ब्रह्म के स्वरूप जो गंभीर चर्चा की, वो आधुनिक विज्ञान और ब्रह्मांड की उत्पत्ति अस्तित्व के प्राकृतिक सिद्धांतों के अनुरूप माने जा सकते हैं। उनके सवालों का ये पहलू दर्शाता है कि समय से आगे थी और उनके विचार आज भी अनुसंधान के हिस्सा बने हुए हैं। धन्यवाद।
Namaste. Yes. With my deep gratitude to the organizers and to the chairperson, I would just like to present my paper very briefly on the topic, an overview of education of women in India, past and present. So here I have just considered an overall perusal of the Indian civilization, which will show that the women have enjoyed a greater social status and many more liberties during the Vedic age and almost till the previous the time of the Markandeya Purana. We can find that the position occupied by the women, accorded to the women, was definitely of a very great status. However, the present and previous centuries, there has been a revival. Access to education for all classes of society has created an awakening strength into the mind, emancipating her from her oppression which she has to undergo. So this, and of course, there is an ample evidence to show that in the Vedic period, women had freedom to study the Vedas. Some of them were so rich in their penance that they came to be referred as several hymns have been attributed to them, and right from the dawn of civilization, women have been respected and have been given an equal status. And I have just given some references to the various hymns that have been attributed to the women seers, and to the extent we have, Rigveda goes to the extent of endowing her with a position equal to Brahma. Strihi Brahma Babhuvita, and Atharva Veda glorifies her as a symbol of religion or truthful behavior. And of course, we have Manu, who has stated that if an acharya is equal to 10 ordinary teachers, a father is equal to 100 acharyas, a mother is equal to 1,000 fathers. This is due to the fact that it is the mother who inculcates the best samskaras in the child, and such a way that it stays deep rooted forever. And for the purpose of brevity, I am not going to touch upon several aspects of the legal rights for women that they could enjoy. However, we find that Manu states that it is the responsibility of the state to provide her with all the security and safety by stringent enforcement of law and order. Such has been the impact of Manusmriti that great leaders of our country like Maharshi Dayanand Saraswati, Mahatma Gandhi, and several other leaders and scholars have accepted Manusmriti without, of course, without the interpolations, they have accepted it. And when it comes to the methodology of teaching that was adopted for education, we find that the girls had they were entitled to Upanayana, and at the end of the education, we find the Ashvalayana Grihya Sutra, which describes a ceremony called Samavartana, which is performed on the completion of the Vedic studies. This was applicable to the girls as well. And the Upanishads have prominently recognized the as just we have seen, even in the morning session we saw the importance accorded to the Maitreyi, and we have Gargi, who was the daughter of sage Vachaknu, and women were taught, and besides all these scholarships that they had intellectually, they could also have a training in fine arts, especially singing, music, and drama. They were also good orators and attended public learned assemblies. And when we have going on to the training in military training, which may not have been very popular, but was quite accepted. And we have the 10th mandala of the Rig Veda, where we find the mention of two women warriors, Vadrimati and Vishpala, in the hymn for the composed by the attributed to the female seer Gosha. In the 10th mandala we have this, and as Dr. Balasubramaniam already said in the morning, we had Nishpala, who was a soldier, lost her leg, and it was with her prayers to Ashwini Kumaras, it was she was provided with a new leg and also the power of walking. And there is also the lady who named Badrimati, whose hands got chopped off in the battle, and she besieged the Ashwini Kumaras, who blessed her with a pair of golden hands, which were functioning. So this aptly shows that, and Mudgalani was the wife of Mudgala, so she is an example to show that the training was so complete that she could drive the chariot and fight the enemies and eventually drive them away. So this aptly shows that the education of women was liberal and extensive, as these women were adept intellectually as they were in fine arts and painting, gardening, culinary arts, etc. And going to the Ramayana and Mahabharata, they are profuse with the instances to prove that women could participate in Vedic rites as they were initiated. And we have the example of Tara, who was performing the Vedic sacrifice when Bali went to fight with Sugriva. And even in the Mahabharata, we have several such instances. And coming to later literature, we have in Kadambari where Mahashweta was initiated into the Gayatri, etc. From the Uttara Ramacharita of Bahubhuti, we get to know that Atri resided in the ashrama of sage Valmiki, but when she found that she could not match with the intellectual levels of Lava and Kusha, she came down south to Dandaka forest to learn Vedanta from sage Agastya. Also in the Malati Madhava, there is again instance where Kamandaki, the Buddhist nun, she was much sought after by the people for her extensive knowledge. And post-independence, we have several new changes which have been brought out by the government, and several schemes have been introduced. Free education, etc., have been introduced in such a way that there is the emancipation of the women at the grassroots level, and the literacy rate has also grown, and strategies have been evolved to not only enroll girls into primary education but also ensure that it is sustained at various levels. Only then can we claim that ours is a nation wholly emancipated and empowered. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, all of you. Good afternoon, all of you. As sir said that I have only 5 minutes, so I already prepared for the 15 minutes and 20 minutes onwards. But sir told that I have only 5 minutes, so I directly come. Okay. So my topic is that an analysis of historiography of female identity in Vedic literature. First of all, I just define that why I choose this topic, because there is because the mentality is there only the Marxist historian, they represent all the history. Okay, but that is not the true fact. That is the nationalist historian also there, and Western historian also there. Many Indo-logist historians also there. That's why I chosen these topics. Okay. So if we are talking about that methodology, what kind of methodology I use, mainly the secondary sources. Somewhere I also refer that the primary sources as well, where I found any conflict between the secondary sources and the primary sources. There I just refer that Rig Vedas hymns. Now, what is the mean by the female identity in Vedic literature? So my format of my paper is that I just discuss that imperialist historians, nationalist historians, and the Marxist historians. So we can say that this is the limitation of my paper, because in history many schools of historiography are there, but I have chosen only three schools, and in between one particular school there is a differences between the one particular many historians as well. Suppose that if Romila Thapar and R.S. Sharma and that D.D. Kosambi, they all belong to the Marxist school of historiography, but somewhere we found that there is a conflict between their own opinion. So this is the intention of my paper. So I said that. Okay. Now that historians study the female identity as the idea of what is means to be a woman in different cultural, social, and historical situations. The identity covers women's duties, behavior, and characteristics based on race, class, and time. Women in identity in the Veda is a complex topic. Many scholars have different perspective and interpretation. Marxist, I just started from my topic from this here. Marxist historians like the Kancha Ilaya and others have critiqued the patriarchy. So mainly the Marxist historian, they are talking about that in Vedas, Gargi, Maitri, these kind of women are there. They accepted that one, but they say that there is some kind of, we can say that there is some kind of sense of patriarchy. So for that thing, they are criticizing that in Veda, women got their identity with the help of men. Everything, we can say that women got their existence, they are dependent for their existence on the women. So these are the patriarchal nature. That is also some kind of, we can say, the Marxist historian, they are very correlated to the Western historians. If you're talking about that Max Muller and that Vincent Smith and that James Mill. When James Mill, he has written the history of India, but he never come to India. He is writing about something about India, but he claimed that in ancient time in Vedic society that women have that kind of things, but they got their existence on the shoulders of the men. So that Western historians and the Marxist students, they accept that there are some kind of patriarchy. For that thing only they criticize that term. I heard that Parna Sri ma'am, she's talking about that, she's talking about something co-education systems, and he criticized that one. For my thing that I think there is no any, I just observe it. I have curiosity, if mine is there, I can ask that things. She said that there is a problem in co-education system. We should not appreciate that one. But my question is that what about that value and ethics? It's not about that co-education system. It's about that value and ethics. If you're talking about that Vedic society and what is there in Vedas, that kind of value and ethics we are following in our institution or not. It's not about that co-education. It's not about that thing. My question is, I'm also talking about that there is just some limitation of a certain age. She's talking about that we should follow that co-education system some kind of certain age, but she didn't find that what kind of age, what is the certainty of that age. It is 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, 18 years, because we are youth, we already know each and everyone, because we have friend circle, the student, my friends who is always in in a separate education institution, their mentality is very, we can say that misogynist towards girls and towards women as well. But they are not following the co-education system. They are only following that their all entire studies happen in that single boys schools. In spite of that, their mentality is like that. So it's about that ethics and value. So
Prakash ji, please let us know about your conclusive remarks on female identity in Vedic literature.
okay. So that my concluding remark is that if we are going through the female identity, my topic is the historiography of the female identity in Vedas. How these historians interpreted that women position in Vedas. So is there any biases? Is there any their own mentality? On what basis they are projecting like that? Suppose that I already defined that how Marxist historian, how nationalist historian, and how that these Western historians they define that women position in Vedas. So if we are going to interpret in future as well, if we are writing history writing, we have to consider that we should not incline towards, if there is some house which is against the women. If you're talking about the nationalist historian, they just appreciate and they just we can say that they just selectively chosen those facts which suited their own arguments. So they selectively chosen that one. So if we are going to write any position of women in Vedas, we have to consider all those, and we should not avoid the criticism. If anything is there which is against the women, we have to talk about that things as well. So that is my only conclusion. If we are going to writing history, we should consider all these facts and all these points. Okay, thank you.
सर्वेभ्यः नमो नमः. मेरा विषय का शीर्षक है एशियन स्त्रीधन एंड कंटेम्प्रेरी डाउरी डिस्पार्टीज एंड देयर इफेक्ट्स ऑन वुमेन्स लाइव्स एंड सोसाइटी. The concept of Sridhan and dowry has shaped women's lives in Indian society across countries, while both involve the transfer of wealth in the context of marriage. Their proposed implication and social impact differ darkly. This paper explored the disparities between the Asian practice of Sridhan and the modern dowry system, focusing on their effect on women's autonomy, social rules, and legal protections. Sridhan in Asian perspective. Sridhan concept. In Asian Sridhan literature, the concept of Sridhan, meaning women's wealth, refer to gifts voluntarily given to bride by her family at the time of marriage. These gifts were meant for her financial independence and security. Vedic period. During the Vedic period, dowry was not mandatory but was a practice associated with the bride's welfare. The primary emphasis was on mutual respect and family alliances, with gifts being symbolic rather than materialistic. under texts such as the Manusmriti and Smriti, Yagyavalkya Smriti, Rigved, Narad Smriti. Stridhan encompassed gift given to a woman by her parents, relatives, or husband during her marriage, include jewelry, clothes, and property. These assets were legally recognized as her independent property. The evolution into dowry. In modern society, the practice of dowry has taken a problematic turn. Over time, the practice transformed into a social obligation where the bride's family is expected to provide significant monetary or material gift to the groom's family. This shift often reflects social pressure rather than the original intent of Sridhan. Dowry referred to the wealth demanded by the groom's family from the bride's family, often as a precondition for marriage. Violence and exploitation. Women who fail to meet dowry expectation often face domestic violence, harassment, or abandonment. Dowry-related deaths, often reported as an accident or suicide, remain a grim reality in many parts of India. Psychological impact. The pressure to provide dowries and the associated violence undermine women's mental health and self-esteem, fostering feeling of worth. Economic burden. Dowry demand exacerbate economic inequality and place disproportionate financial pressure on the bride's family. Gender-based violence. The failure to meet dowry expectation has led to a harassment, domestic violence, and dowry deaths, particularly in modern India. Erosion of agency by the turning woman into vehicle of financial gain. Dowry perpetuates gender inequality and reinforces patriarchal norms. Legal framework and social reform. Sridhan recognized and protected under laws such as the Hindu Succession Act 1956, ensuring women rights and inheritance and property. Dowry criminalized under the Dowry Prohibition Act 1961 with additional safeguards in the Indian Penal Code Section 498A and 304B to address dowry-related violence. Despite these laws, enforcement remains challenged, highlighting the need for social change alongside legal reform. Social awareness, grassroots movement, and NGO have played a vital role in educating communities about the harmful effect of dowry. In promoting gender equality, empowering women, education and financial independence for women are key to reducing their reliance on dowry and challenging patriarchal norms. Programs encouraging skills development and empowerment for women are critical in addressing the root causes of dowry. Conclusion. The dowry system, which started as a means of securing women's well-being, has developed into a source of oppression and inequality, while legal framework exists to combat the issue. Social attitude and patriarchal mindset remain significant barriers to its eradication. Addressing dowry's impact requires not only strict enforcement of laws but also widespread awareness, education, and cultural shift to ensure equality and dignity for women. Thank you.
Namaste. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of Sri Bhagavan Satyasai and Maharishi Sri Dayananda Saraswati Swamiji. Today my topic is, are we following right with respect to women in Shrutis and Smritis? Okay, so to start with, शिवशक्त्या युक्तो यदि भवति शक्तः प्रभवितुं न चेदेवं देवो न खलु कुचलः स्पन्दितुमपि अतः स्वामाराध्यमरिहरविरञ्चादिभिरपि प्रणन्तुं स्तोतुं वा कथम् अकृतपुण्यः प्रभवति. This shloka, written by Sri Adi Shankaracharya in Saundarya Lahari, says that Lord Shiva himself cannot do anything without the Stri Shakti. Okay, so, and it also portrays that Shakti is being worshipped by Hari, Hara, Virinchi, that is Lord Vishnu, Shiva, as well as Brahma and all the Devatas. Okay, so who am I to even pray you? So that shows the greatness of Shakti. And the famous Sukti, which says, Gunaha pujasthanam gunishu nachalingaha nachavayaha. Okay, it says gunaha, that is sabgunaha, is to be worshipped and revered. Okay, so there is nothing which says like you are a woman so you cannot tell this, or you are a man so you are great, you can voice out, nothing like that. Everybody, it is just the gunam that we have to see, and there is nothing like age is not a barrier and sex is not a barrier, says the Sukti. So these two things explains clearly about the equality that is being given and given importance for. And then I'm not sure about North India, but in South India, for Rudraksha, okay, so women were actually, even today, there is a myth which says that women are not supposed to wear Rudraksha. But there is a shloka in Shiva Purana, there is one entire adhyaya, 25th adhyaya, which says, Sarvashramanam Varnanam Stribihi Shudranam Shivagnyaya Dharyaha Sadaiva Rudraksha Yatinam Pranavenahi, which says that Sarva Ashramanam, all ashramas, okay, so Brahmacharya, Grahastha Ashrama, Vanaprastha Ashrama, and Sannyasa Ashrama, and Sarva Varnanam, okay, so all the four types of this thing. Stribihi, by women. Shudranam, by all people who worker people. Dharyaha Sadaiva Rudraksha, should wear Rudraksha always. How are they giving that? As Shiva Agneya. It is an order by Shiva that even women must wear Rudraksha always. There is no barrier in our scriptures which says that only men is supposed to do this and women is not supposed to do this. And then next if we see in Veda, in Shikshavali, there is which everybody will be knowing. Matridevo bhava, Pitridevo bhava, Acharya devo bhava, Atiti devo bhava. Okay, so in that also, in Veda, it says that Mata is the first place, whatever be. Why? Because we are there inside the womb of Mata, right? So she is revered, the highest, topmost. So Veda also portrays women in that high position. Next, for Putraha. Okay, so there are so many people who tell like, no, I need putra. Even Mata who spoke previously in the previous session also, she was telling like how much only a boy child is given importance for and not the girl child. So if we see the one of the meanings of putraha, it says, put iti narakat vimuchyate saha putraha. If that was the case, then why is the word putri also mentioned in our scriptures? Why it should have been only putraha? There is a word called putri also, right? So it shows the equality in our, that is there was an equality in our scriptures which is forgotten and got diluted all these days. Satya and Savitri story, if we take up and we see, Savitri was able to bring back her husband's life from the folds of Yama. That was the power of womanhood. So, to conclude, I would like to say like there is one famous proverb in Tamil which says, whatever you see is a lie. Whatever you listen or hear is a lie. Whatever you investigate deeply is only the truth. So, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I don't know, since it was just 5 minutes, I thought I'll just brief up about whatever is there. Thank you so much.
सर्वेभ्यः नमस्कारः। भारतमातुः चरणकमलयोः मम प्रणामं समर्प्य अहम् एतत् अवकाशं दत्तवन्तः सर्वेषां कृते मम प्रणामं समर्पयामि। अत्र वयं देशः इति वदामः, भारतमाता इति वदति। एतद् भारतीयसम्प्रदायः। अत्र मातॄणां कृते एव प्रथमस्थानम्, इत्युक्ते पितॄणां कृते नास्ति वा इति न, पित्रोः मनसि अपि तेषां वात्सल्यभावः यदा भवति मातृवत् इति भवति यदा मातृदेवो भव इति वदामः पितृदेवो भव सर्वगुणान् अपि एकमातरि वयं द्रष्टुं शक्नुमः तादृशशक्तिः अस्ति इति अस्माकं पुराणेषु सूचितवन्तः इदानीं सृष्टिकर्ता अस्ति ब्रह्मदेवः तत्र किम् अपेक्षते सृष्टिकार्यनिमित्तं ज्ञानम् अपेक्षते ज्ञानं कया दत्तमस्ति सरस्वत्या एव अतः सः ब्रह्मदेवः वाग्देवीं स्वीकृत्य तस्य स्वस्य जिह्वायां स्थापयित्वा एव यत् कार्यं स्वीकृतवान् अस्ति ब्रह्मदेवः अत्र अग्रिमं स्वीकुर्मः नारायणः नारायणस्य कार्यं किं लोकरक्षणार्थं किम् अपेक्षते ऐश्वर्यम् अपेक्षते धनं मात्रं नास्ति अष्ट ऐश्वर्याणि अपेक्षते तन्निमित्तमेव तत्र सृष्ट्याः प्रथमरहस्यमस्ति ऐश्वर्यं ददाति इति लक्ष्मीं स्वीकृत्य तस्य हृदये प्राण स्थाने स्थापितवान् हृदये स्थापितवान् अस्ति सा हृदयकमलवासिनी अभवत् एवं शक्ति अस्ति पार्वती देवी अस्ति शिवस्य कार्यमस्ति सृष्टि सर्व यदद् अनवसर विषयान् संहारं कर्तुमेव सर्वान् सः कदापि नाशनं न करोति तत्र अपेक्षा अस्ति शक्तिः आवश्यकः यदपि अनवसर विषयान् निष्कासयितुं शक्तिम् अपेक्षते तत्स्थानं तत् शक्तिं प्राप्तुमेव पार्वती देवीं शक्तिं सः अर्धभागं शरीरमेव दत्तवान् अस्ति अतः तादृश भारतदेशे वयं सर्वे जन्म प्राप्तवन्तः इदानीम् एक मातृदर्शनम् इति अस्ति सरस्वती देवीं चित्रं चिन्तयन्तु एक माता तस्याः हस्ते किं किं भवति चत्वारः हस्ताः इदानीन्तन मातॄणां कृते बहु हस्ताः सन्ति चत्वारणां हस्तानां हस्ते ता स्थापितवती अस्ति वीणा पुस्तकं जपमाला इति अस्ति अत्र पुस्तकं किम् अस्ति माता वदति यद् जन्मनि भवान् ज्ञानं प्राप्तवान् तस्य वर्धनार्थं भवान् कार्यं करोतु यत् ज्ञानं जन्मनि प्राप्तवान् तस्य वर्धनार्थम् अधिकं चिन्तनं करोतु तद्मात्रं न ज्ञानं मात्रं नास्ति माता तद्मात्रं न वदति यस्य मनः उल्लासः हृदय विकासः भवति तस्य एव जीवनम् उत्कृष्टं जीवनं भवति अतः ज्ञानसहितं मनोल्लासं प्राप्नोतु इति सरस्वती माता दर्शयति वीणा हस्ते स्थापयित्वा जपमालां हस्ते स्थापितवती सर्वदा पठतु पठतु भवान् सर्वदा ज्ञानं गीतं शृणोतु इति मात्रं नास्ति मनोविकासतया तस्य ध्यानं करणीयं यदि यदि उत्तमविषयान् स्वीकुर्मः तत्र ध्यानं करोति बुद्धिस्थिरतां प्राप्नोति इति सरस्वती मातुः चित्ररूपेण वयं ज्ञातुं शक्नुमः तद्मात्रं न यद् ज्ञानम् उत्तमज्ञानमस्ति मनोविकासः अस्ति तत्र ध्यानं कुर्मः सर्वदा अनवसरविषयात् उपरि गच्छति इति साक्षात् सरस्वती देवी कमलपुष्पे उपविष्टवती तत्र मलिनं न स्पृश्यते यस्य समीपं ज्ञानं भवति तस्य मलिनं स्वयम् आगत्य न तिष्ठति यदा मलिनम् आगच्छति उपरि गच्छति इति तस्याः चित्रं रूपेण वयं द्रष्टुं शक्नुमः एतद् मात्रं नास्ति अस्माकं जीवनं वर्णमयजीवनं भवितव्यं मयूरः सरस्वती माता तस्य चित्रे दर्शयति मयूरस्य कण्ठः कठोरस्वरः भवति कोकिला एव मधुरं न भवति तथापि स्वन्यूनतां न दर्शयतु यद् अस्ति भवान् ज्ञानं वर्धयतु अनुचितविषयात् दूरं गच्छतु मनोविकासं प्राप्नोति चेत् भवतः जीवनं वर्णमयं भवति इति तादृशविषयान् अस्माकं भारतीय संस्कृत्यां योजयित्वा एक लघुचित्ररूपेण वयं ज्ञातुं शक्नुमः इति अस्माकं पुराणं पाठयति यदा मातरः चिन्तयति चेत् किमपि वयं प्रपञ्चे सृष्टिं कर्तुं शक्नुमः विवेकानन्दस्य माता वयं सा पुराणं पठितवती इति कारणे वा श्रुतवती इति कारणे वा भारत दर्शनं स्पर्शनं कृतवती इति कारणे वा सः बालकः गत्वा पृच्छति अम्मा अहम् अश्वचालकः भवामि इति सर्वे मित्राणि हसन्ति किन्तु सा माता वदति भवान् निश्चयेन अश्वचालकः भवतु कृष्णः इव गीतोपदेशचित्रे विद्यमान कृष्णः इव विश्वस्य कृते भवान् पाठनं करोतु तादृश उपदेशं करोतु इति यदा माता प्रेरितवती वयम् एक विवेकानन्दं वयं प्राप्तवन्तः एतादृश प्रतिविषयं वयं स्वीकुर्मः मातृत्वेन पुरुषः वा भवतु महिला वा भवतु मातृत्वेन यद् कार्यं वयं तत्र संस्थापयामः तत्र उन्नतिस्थितिमेव वयं प्राप्तुं शक्नुमः. यत्रापि कुमाता इति न भवति इति अस्माकं चरित्रं वदति. तादृश मातरः वयं सर्वे अपि भवामः. तत्र वयं यद् साधयितुं शक्नुमः इति अस्माकं कलियुगस्य नाशः इदानीं भवति. इतोपि कालः अस्ति. तस्मिन् इतोपि 20 वर्षानन्तरं 50 वर्षानन्तरम् एक उत्तमभारतरचनार्थं सर्वे मातृवत् कार्यं कुर्मः. तत्र अस्माकं मातृवत् इत्युक्ते पितृ पुनः तत्र अस्माकं सन्देहः न. माता कथं भवति इति वदन्ति. एक पनसफलं वयं हस्ते स्वीकुर्मः. पूर्ण पनसफलस्य दृश्यं पश्यन्तु. उपरि त्वक् अस्ति, तद् बहु रफ् भवति. तदेव पिता रक्षति. अन्तः विद्यमानविषयान् सा रक्षति. पिता रक्षति. अन्तः तन्तुरूपेण बीजान् संरक्षति. फलं यद् फलम् अस्ति मधुरफलं संरक्षणं करोति. तदेव मातृगुणम् अस्ति. बन्धुत्वेन बान्धव्यं समाप्य तत्र उत्तमविषयान् चिन्तयित्वा सा रक्षणं करोति इति कारणेन तत्र विद्यमानफलस्य रुचिः बहु मधुरं भवति. किन्तु तत्र सर्वेषां सृष्टिकर्तानामपि एक यत् किं वदामः अपेक्षा अस्ति. तत्र विद्यमानबीजः एव अस्माकं परम्परा भवति इति अस्मान् रक्षति इति कारणेन वयं सर्वे शक्तिसमृद्धभारतं वयं कल्पयामः. धन्यवादः. उत्तम अवकाशं कल्पितवन्तानां सर्वेभ्यः धन्यवादः.
A very good afternoon to everyone. At the outside, I really want to express my gratitude to the organizing team led by Professor Dharani Dharanji for giving me this opportunity to collaborate with Sanskrit scholars and pursuing my most favorite area of law, that is the improvement of women and better protection to them in terms of Indian law. So I really want to appreciate all the 6 presenters. They had prepared their papers very well in accordance with what they had chosen to discuss. Joydeep ji in a very detailed manner presented Gargi ji's learning and exponential learnings in this field by sharing with us at least 3 different incidents with regard to her appreciative knowledge, followed by a very excellently presented research work by Dr. Pankaja ji, in which she highlighted that there has never been any dearth of opportunity to women in the Vedic society, and how they have been brought up, how they have been perceived in the Vedic era has been damaged consciously by the selective depiction of narratives by certain historians that was excellently projected by Ved Prakash ji in his work. He highlighted the involvement of imperialist, Marxist and nationalist historians. And I know that he's from legal background, so I'm able to appreciate his understanding in a much better manner, that it is a fact. You see, I will also be talking about it. First, I really wanted to put my appreciations on record, because this kind of work is not easy when scholars and experienced members of the fraternity prepare a research work to share. It goes on for like 20-25 pages, and then we are told like wind up in 5 minutes straight. That's when we take the call of what is exactly that we wanted to explore and how have we been able to justify that. Excellently done. Sabita ji's work with regard to ancient Stridhan and contemporary dowry was excellent, because she directly spoke about law. And I would like to add a slight detail to it, that Stridhan is something that the married woman receives after she goes to the husband's family. And this position is not different in the Mohammedan society also, if you are aware of it. There is something called meher at the time when they agree to get married to each other in the presence of witnesses. That meher is a safeguard deposit for the well-being of the woman during the subsistence of her marriage. It is not a cost purchase as consideration for marriage. Whereas dowry, what it has taken a shape of today, essentially started as dan in our Vedic literature. Considering the socio-economic position of the larger population of Indian demography, a lot of people were not very well to do. So when a husband and wife were going to start a new family, it was very natural for both the families to gift certain basic essentials, since one more family member was going to join. And soon children were going to be a part of that family. The idea was pooling of resources to give a respectable start to a very pious association, which unfortunately has become a mocking word today in the eyes of West, with marriage happening today and divorce happening in the evening. So this concept of dowry again has been categorically re-injected in the modern Indian society only to propagate the greed aspect of the people in the name of a very well established and a very sound practice. Even now in India today, despite of Dowry Prohibition Act, the act itself says gifts given in a marriage are protected. They are valid. Parents are allowed to give gifts to their daughter, to their son-in-law. Brothers and sisters are allowed to give gifts. Uncles and aunts are allowed to give gifts. What is prohibited is greed. You are not allowed to ask for it. You are not allowed to advertise it that if you get married to my daughter or my sister, I will give you this. This is what we do not want to tolerate in our society. Not that we are closing our eyes on a very sound socio-economic system of mutual support. Followed by Uttaraji's discussion with regard to the involvement of Shakti wherever gods are referred to. The last two speakers, in their own understanding, almost spoke about the same point, that is the prevalence of feminist energy in balancing universe. Whether we equate it with divinity, whether we equate it with system, and whether we evaluate it in today's scenario, things are not going to be very different. And that is what I chose to be the topic of my discussion today. Understanding womanhood in Vedas. Exploring Bharatiya feminism. This I really want to talk about in a public platform where there are scholars who are educated in the Vedas originally, not of what we listen to somebody speaking in a YouTube short or what is available in somebody's research paper available on Google. You are very learned individuals. If I look at you, I feel like I need a lot of work. But I can talk about what I know. If we think of the term feminism, what comes to our mind? Can any young lady or a young boy here tell me that, please? Generally, feminism is a very popular term these days. Social media has really put in a lot of investment to make it popular. Tell me, does any idea come to your mind with feminism? बताइए. Mm-hmm. ठीक है, ठीक है. Right. Fine. fine. I understand and thank you. In a summarized manner, she expressed what I wanted to put across on the table. So essentially, if we look at the idea of feminism, it just means that a woman should have the ability to choose what she wants to do. Very simple. How much education do you want to get? What kind of education do you want to get? Do you want to be a learned individual in texts, or do you want to hone your talents as a musician, as a chef, as a painter, as a dancer, as an agriculturalist, as a warrior? How? A woman needs to have that ability, that scope of making a choice. The original idea of feminism throughout the globe is this. Pardon? Yes, undoubtedly. But as Ved Prakash ji took a few names, I will not take that liberty because he is a scholar and I'm not. So, that distorted version which has been reinforced in our psychology and in the conditioning of our minds in the post-colonial India. Very conveniently, the academicians of a certain genre impose the liability on colonial distanglement. But it is in fact their own misdoing that they have created a puzzle out of a jigsaw itself. What they convey to the younger population for many decades now is that feminism means you have to counter-argument everything. You have to question everything. It is not the freedom of choice they would propagate in you. They would propagate the freedom to question what you believe to be the right thing for you. This is very different. This is what this young lady was saying. She said initially, that is a more dominant idea, that girl argues, I want to dress up like a boy, end of it. Yeah, and nobody is stopping you to do that anyways. You are free to dress up like a man. Right? The second point of which she said in a very subtle tone, in a more thoughtful and detailed manner, itself signifies the psychosocial construction of feminism in our society. This is significant. That is why I always ask the youngsters, you tell what comes to your mind. Psychosocial conditioning is what is happening through the texts that we are reading, through the laws that we are propagating. How conveniently the existence of knowledge has been equated with awareness of a language. I could have very well spoken in Hindi about this, but there are international audience and I want this discussion to have a better outreach. That is why I'm consciously talking about it in English. If you're talking all nonsense, but it is either in English, French or Spanish, it is a given that you are amazing and you're outstanding and you have an edge over the others. Does that make any sense anywhere? But this is not a colonial construct. For them it was a necessity. They had to talk to us. They had to reinforce that system. But who continued it? Who made it essential? Why did we need to have a schedule of languages in the constitution itself? Sir, Mataji is there at the entry. Why did we need to have a schedule of ठीक है हाँ जी such a conscious effort to again make a puzzle out of an already existing jigsaw. Divide and rule was their policy. Divide and rule is what we propagated in our parent legal document. One directive principle for the state, that is the government, to have a policy is uniform civil code. Make life standard for all individuals in their personal fora, just like it is standard in criminal fora. If you steal somebody's book, if you cause somebody's murder, nobody is going to ask you whether you go to temple or you go to Gurudwara. They say you go to court and then you go to jail. Right? Why can we not have a simple standard of protection when it comes to civil life? Why can some children born in some religious families be capable of being adopted if they are orphans, whereas those children, if they are born in other religious family, they cannot be adopted? Do you know the Muslim personal law in India does not allow adoption as an institution of social segment? It says fosterage. We will pretend to be your parents, but we don't take responsibility. Whereas the Hindu legal thought, the Hindu Code Bill, which was one of the first statutory documents which was passed by the parliament as a socio-legal reform after the land reforms, is coming out with the 4 Hindu laws, that is Hindu Marriage Act, Hindu Succession Act, Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act, and Hindu Adoption Act. Very simply we have written in black and white what is what and what is not. And if we are offering that protection to a larger segment of our sisters, why is the system not allowing us to extend the same to other ladies who are by birth different from us because of the social identity? Right? The strongest change that the Hindu legislations brought was institution of monogamy. One man can have one wife. Simple. Because you are responsible not only for the lady who becomes your wife, but for the family that you create with that lady. You have legal obligations, you have economic obligations, you have social obligations, and if you are really hardworking, you may have political obligations as a leader too. Right? But if that we want to extend to other ladies who are born in other religious communities, the same system does not allow us to do. Then we are blamed that we are dividing vote bank. Daughters have an equal share as just like the son now in a Hindu household. This position took a lot of time to bring in India. It was not like this in 1956 when the law was made, but it only came in September 2005. But what about other communities? What about Parsi community? What about Christian ladies? Who is protecting them? And when Sikh community, Jain community, Buddhist community, and the people who claim to be atheist, not belonging to any religious identity, are protected by the Hindu laws for their betterment, again there is an attack of vote bank politics. That is why I termed the discussion as understanding Bharatiya feminism. If you identify the essence of Bharatiyata as your identity, you will not be feeling compelled to be termed or to be identified as an Indian. This is an artificial social construct imposed on us. India. There are so many debates whether India is an acronym for something, or is it just because it happened to be, the territory where the travelers and the investors of East Indies Trading Company came to trade. But we know today, because we are suffering, to regain that strength and that respect that we had ever since our beginning. They declared us to be illiterates because we did not know their language. Then they only stole our scriptures, went back home, learned the language, and now they are telling us that we don't know the language. Then there are social anthropologists who are terming, and I have read it in my NCERT books in 11th and 12th in sociology. There is a term which is highly criticized called Sanskritization, going back to Vedas. Who is doing it? People who want to propagate that we are not one, that we are essentially different. Yesterday, Lakshmanji's discourse was the intentional attempt to diversify India, starting with historical disbelief of Aryan and Dravidian invasion. Then propagating caste system, segregation of caste. The caste is not what it is today as it was earlier when we understood it as a varna. It is just a group of specialization of what people do. What type of people are performing what type of duties in a society to maintain a balance. And that is gender neutral. This is when Madam was giving the example of a Rudraksh to be worn not only by a woman but by a Shudra also. Who is a Shudra? Working class person. Who is a poor person? If they can have it, so Lord Shiva is not only directing them, but he is giving agya, permission, that you have my blessing to have it with you. If you can, keep it and carry with the divinity it deserves. So, in essence, if we want to reignite the status of women in India as it should be, because we do belong to Vedic society, our roots, our DNAs are from that. We have to struggle, we have to justify the demand for a uniform civil code. Because if you are born on this land, which is blessed with pious waters of Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati, and still you are differentiating between daughters born in different households just because biologically that body believes in something else, do we lose our responsibility to protect them? Should we leave them to become wives of a polyandrous marriage, of a polygamous relationship? Why should we not have a standard minimum age for marriage for girls? Why should a personal law protect somebody's puberty at 14 so that the girls can be wedded off to 80-year-old men, 90-year-old men? What is this discrimination? Is this discrimination? Absolutely not. And if they say that this is an artificial social construct, I would like to counter that this is an artificial legal construct. Law has a very deep relation with society and it is twofold. Most dominantly, law is going to attack the society to bring a change which the society itself is not bringing. That is a primary role of law. Law as a facilitator of social change. The colonizers left India totally poor. Forget about girl child getting education, boy child was also not getting education. We took so many steps, legally, socially, politically, demographically. Today we are giving right of free and compulsory education to every child born in India. In that they don't say there is discrimination. Why are you giving it to majority and to minority? But when the same child is not allowed to continue education beyond 14 because the age of puberty allows the girl to be married off, then it is discrimination. It is left for our wisdom to decide what call of action do we find as fair and final. Do we want to be spectators of an argument, or do we want to be facilitators of a very positive and a very well required change? So conclusively, I would say that one limited aspect of reigniting Bharatiya feminism is by bringing uniform civil code in India for sure. Without the argument as to which personal law has been given primacy, but it should be evaluated as to how is it protecting the group that it is supposed to protect. Are we protecting our aged members of the family equally? Are we protecting the children of the family equally? Are we giving equal access to resources to the ladies of the family or not? These are the valid points. I urge all of you to genuinely give a thought about it, and if the government asks for your opinions, which it will very soon, bring in public fora, please go for it. Thank you so much. Certificates? Ji, ji, ji. अभी आपके प्रमाण पत्र मिलेंगे, आइए।
विधि विभाग की विभागाध्यक्षा डॉक्टर गुरमिंदर कौर जी का मैं हृदय से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद ज्ञापन करता हूँ, क्योंकि जिस अपेक्षा के साथ मैं इनके पास गया कि आप वुमेन इस वेदाज में एक सत्र को चेयर करें और कुछ इश्यूज हैं जो मैंने इनके सामने रखे थे, हम दोनों ने एक चर्चा की और मैं थोड़ा बहुत सुन पाया हूँ, क्योंकि मैं एक संयोजक के नाते मेरी भूमिका इस तरीके की रहती है। मुझे लगता है कि आप सबका ओपिनियन ऐसा है कि उन सभी इश्यूज़ को मैडम ने बहुत भली भांति तरीके से स्पष्ट और प्रतिपादित किया होगा। इसी आशा के साथ मैं आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद ज्ञापन करता हूँ। किया है क्योंकि मैं तो आया गया और सुना, तो आपका पुनः बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और आगे भी इस तरह के विषयों में वैदिक विद्या केंद्र के अन्य कार्यक्रमों में भी हम आपका सहयोग लेते रहेंगे। मैं ये केंद्र की ओर से आपसे अपेक्षा रखता हूँ। तो
आप आदेश देंगे
तो इसी तरह की श्रृंखला चलती रहेगी और आप सभी एक टी ब्रेक के लिए ठीक है आमंत्रित हैं। और उसके बाद व्याख्यान है ना 3:15 पर आप सभी उपस्थित हों, ऐसी आपसे आशा की जाती है। धन्यवाद।
पहले इनका होगा, इसके बाद आपका होगा, इनका होगा, उसके बाद आपका 15 मिनट आपका हो जाना। ठीक है, हाँ हाँ, मैं आपको बताऊँ, नहीं इनका पावर नहीं, इनका पावर, इसके बाद इनका पावर, पावर पड़ता है ना, आप किस डिपार्टमेंट से? हाँ वही नहीं वो तो भैया ए लेयर का दो लोगों का रखिए। हाँ हाँ उसको लगा दोनों का। ये उनका है ना, ये किसका है मालूम करो। ये सब तो यहाँ पर रहेगा या तो ये तो यहीं पर रहेगा। हाँ नमस्सभायै आज दूसरे दिन का 5वां सत्र शुरू होने जा रहा है। इसके लिए अध्यक्षता करने के लिए हमारा पांडिचेरी विश्वविद्यालय के संस्कृति विभाग के भूतपूर्व अध्यक्ष एवं सर्वविदित साहित्य दर्शनादि शास्त्र के पारंगत सहृदय मनीषी हमारा जो अग्रज मूर्धन्य हैं प्रोफेसर राधा कृष्णन सर से मैं प्रार्थना करता हूँ आप अध्यक्षता के रूप में यहाँ पर आप पधारें एवं आर्य समाज के डॉक्टर सुरभि मैडम से हमारा अनुरोध है, प्रार्थना है, आप अध्यक्षता करने के लिए यहाँ पर विराजें। इस सत्र का स्वरूप ऐसा होगा, पहले से मैं बता देता हूँ। 2 अध्यक्ष होने के नाते एक अध्यक्षीय भाषण है, शुरू में होता है, दूसरा अध्यक्षीय भाषण है, अंत में होगा। पहला जो अध्यक्षीय भाषण है हमारा सर CS राधाकृष्णन सर का भाषण होगा। सबसे पहले मुख्य वक्ता के रूप में उनका भाषण होने के बाद है जो पेपर प्रेजेंटर्स है उनका पेपर प्रेजेंटेशन होगा। उसी में नेक्स्ट है विनोद मुरली। उसके विनोद मुरली के बाद हमारा जो फिजियोलॉजिस्ट जिपमर के जो भूतपूर्व अध्यक्ष है हमारे जो डॉक्टर मदन मोहन जी यहाँ पर पधारे हैं, उनका होगा। उसके बाद 3 पत्र है। उसके बाद अंतिम में डॉक्टर सुरभि मैडम का अध्यक्षीय भाषण अंतिम में होगा। इसी में गजलक्ष्मी का भी पहले होगा। गजलक्ष्मी का नाम तो अभी सम्मान मैडम आ जाए, आइए इसको भी करो। वयं सफलाः। नमस्कारः। इदानीं प्रार्थ्यन्ते प्रोफेसर CS राधाकृष्णन वर्याः।
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। शिवशक्त्या युक्तो यदि भवति शक्तः प्रभवितुं न चेदेवं देवो न खलु कुशलः स्पन्दितुमपि। अतः त्वाम् आराध्यां हरिहरविपञ्चादिभिरपि प्रणन्तुं स्तोतुं वा कथम् अकृतपुण्यः प्रभवति। My esteemed colleague Dr. Dharnidharan ji, Dr. Anil Pratap Giri ji, Dr. Krishnan, Dr. Behra, and organizer Dr. Raghavendra, and my co-chairperson Dr. Surabhi, scholars and learned members of the audience. I am very happy to be here to share I don't say I am chairing a session, to sharing a few thoughts with you on this very important subject. And of the organizers, 4 of them, I have been already part of 2 of them, namely the Sanskrit Department of Pondicherry University and also the Indian Institute of Advanced Study, where I was an associate earlier. And this is the first time I am coming to this Vedic Vidya Kendra, and I am very much impressed with not only just their infrastructure, but with their commitment to organize such a highly discerning conferences, the message of which should go beyond the academic confines, if beyond the colleges and schools, it should reach the common person of our country. And with that in view, this 3-day international seminar on women in the Vedas has been organized. And I commenced my speech with a prayer of Adi Shankaracharya in the Saundarya Lahari, where he says that Shivaha Shaktya Yuktaha Yadi Bhavati Shaktaha Prabhavidam. Even Lord Shiva can indulge in any activity only if he is backed by or assisted by Shakti. Nachet evam, if there is no backing by Shakti, na khalu kushalaha spanditumapi. He cannot even make one small movement. So this sloga in nutshell speaks about the role of women in society. And though the conference is confined to the women in the Vedas, what we have in the form of the Smriti or the Itihasa or the Purana, the purpose of these 3 are meant to be the Upabrahmana of the Vedas. What has been mentioned in the Veda, the same idea is mentioned in these texts also. And even a woman, she has varied roles in society, in a household. She is the mother, she is the daughter, she is the wife, she is the sister, and what not. And now they are the workforce also. So from all these angles, if we try to make an analysis of women as a mother, as a goddess, or as a wife, what is the picture that the Vedas present, or what is the picture that even the Kavyas or the Puranas they present? So I would like to proceed in that line. We all know, I am sure this statement would have been quoted very often, Yatra Narjastu Pujyande Ramande Tatra Devataha. Very frequently it is quoted. But another statement of Manu, which is taken in part and quoted for driving home a different idea of women, namely Nastri Swadantram Arhati. This is a statement, but only this line is taken and given to the public. But in which context does it say? Pita rakshati kaumare, Bharta rakshati yavane, Putraha rakshati vardagye, Nastri Swadantram Arhati. And here we have to understand the usage of the word Arhati. Mam rakshitam deva bhavaneva arhati. I don't say that you only deserve to protect me. That arhati, the word is used in a different connotation in Sanskrit. But it is taken, arhati, they don't deserve any freedom. So it is quoted in the wrong platforms. But subsequently, soon after this sloga, there is another sloga which they should also read that. What is that? Kale adada pita vachyaha. A father who does not give away his daughter in marriage in the proper manner, vachyaha means he should be blamed. Like that, there are so many quotations. We cannot take just one portion and quote it for a different purpose. And let us try to analyze how the women have been viewed upon in Vedic society. In the vast Vedic literature, there is one small piece called the Shikshavalli, which is in fact the Vedic convocation. And there, the Vedic statements are like this. It would give you Nisheda and Vidhi, or Vidhi and Nisheda. But here, what it starts with is the Nisheda. For example, when you start learning driving, first he would tell you, this is no entry, don't enter. Here keep left, or something like that. So we should know both. No entry, we should not go inside. And where we should go, both we should know. Therefore, the Shikshavalli says, Vedamanuchya Ajaryaha Antevasinam Anushasti. He gives him a final convocation. Satyam Vada, Dharmam Chara, Swadhyayad Ma Pramadaha. Acharyaya Priyam Dhanamahritya Prajadandum Ma Vivachetsihi. And some people might think the Vedic statement says the Acharyaya Priyam Dhanamahritya, giving him lot of money. And what is that dhanam? Vidyadanam Sarvadana Pradanam. The vidya that you have learned from the Acharya, you please give it to the next generation. Acharyaya Priyam Dhanamahritya Prajadandum Ma Vyavachetsihi Satyade Na Pramaditavyam Dharmade Na Pramadit. Like that it goes. And what you should do, it says Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Adhiti Devo Bhava. So this is a universal dictum. Wherever we say Mata, Pita, Guru, Devam. And here it says Mata, Pita, Guru, and next is Atiti. A guest should be welcomed like God. Now, such a system is slowly waning or going away. Because when you go there as an unannounced guest, they may be watching some TV serial, something, then they'll say, oh, this headache has come. So Atiti should be welcomed. Not that if he comes every day, then you don't need to welcome, because na vidyade dudiyatidi yasya saha atiti. Only if he comes occasionally for just one visit, then goes, you should treat him as an atiti. Not somebody who comes daily to read your newspaper and go, or have a cup of coffee in your house and go. Therefore, their first place is given to the mother. Just 1 minute. Since I want to make it very brief, so that give time for others to speak also. And it is because of this Shikshavalli that in many of the dramas we find, in fact Bhasa even says, Mata kala manushyanam devatanam cha devatam. One of the Pandavas say, Matuhu ajñam puraskritya vayam edam dasham gadaha. If we have come to this level, it is because of the fact that we simply obeyed the dictates of our mother. And wherever you take Lalita Sahasranam, Sri Mata, Sri Maharatni. So that concept of motherhood is held in highest esteem everywhere. And not only that, Manu even says, with regard to education, because there are some papers on Vedic view of women's education. He says, Upadhyayana dasha acharyaha, acharyanam shatam pita, pitrinam cha shatam mata gauravena atirichyate. One acharya is equivalent to 10 upadhyayas. A mere upadhyaya is one who teaches upadhyayaha to yaha vidyam adhyapayati vrityartham, just for livelihood. Acharya is equivalent to 10 upadhyayas. And father, who is the first guru rather, Pita Bhavati Mantrataha, he is the first guru from whom we learn, the Gayatri Mantra and others. And he is greater than Acharyanam Shatam, 100 Acharyas. And Pitrinam cha Shatam Mata, Gauravena Atirichyate. A mother excels the father 100-fold, 100 times. So we revere both father and mother. Vakartave Jagataha Pidaro Vande Parvati Parameshwar. But Manu says that mother excels the father 100 times, because our learning, our parampara, our samskara, everything starts from home. And it is the mother who teaches us, not that she takes a class every day, but even inadvertently, even without our own knowledge, such good habits get into us because of the mother. So the learning process starts at home. You don't need to go to the school to start it afresh. That's why Manu has held her in very great esteem as a mother. And we all know that even great sannyasins, they do the samskara for their mother. And there is a very famous Matra Panchaka of Sri Shankaracharya, Tasya Janani Namaha. He says that we cannot give back as a debt, a rina, for the suffering that she has undertaken to bring up the child, we cannot give it back. And echoing the same idea, there is another Matra Panchaka by Swami Sachidananda, who belongs to the Sringeri lineage of Shankaracharyas. He says, Bhrute Matrasama Shrutihi Bhagavati Yate Barhadaranyaki, Brihadaranyas Barhadaranyaki Tattvam Vetsyati Matramanscha Pitrman Acharyavaniti Asau Tatra Adau Kila Matra Shikshana Vidim Sarvottamam Shasati Pujyat Pujyatara Samartyati Yam Tasye Jananye Namaha. We learn from the mother, we learn from the father, and we learn from the guru. But which is the best? Shankaracharya says here, Tatra Adau Kila Matra Shikshana Vidim Sarvottamam Shasati. What we have learned from our mother is the highest. Next comes the father, then only the guru. Therefore, they have held motherhood in highest esteem. That is our tradition. And coming to the wife, the better half of life. Say now everywhere we say we want 33% reservation. But what was our concept? There is the, even in the Ramayana, Ramayana, we hold him in great esteem. But Valmiki says, Sitayaha Charitam Mahat. The Charitra of Sita is Mahat, the greatest. And coming to the Mahabharata, when Shakuntala goes to the court of Dushyanta, here this is not the Shakuntala as we have studied her in through Kalidasa's Shakuntalam. In Kalidasa's Shakuntalam, Shakuntala is the most tender, very delicate darling, you should say. But the Shakuntala of Mahabharata is entirely different. When she went there, and when Dushyanta, he knew very well that she is his own wife and the child, Sarvadamana, is his own child. But he refused because he was afraid that suppose he were to accept her just like that, nobody has witnessed that marriage. It is according to Gandharva rights. So tomorrow, if that child stakes a claim for the throne, people will question. Therefore, he simply rejected her. And at that time, what did Shakuntala say in the original Mahabharata? She says, Ardham Bharya Manushasya. Wife is 50. They are not just content with 33%, but 50%. Ardham Bharya Manushasya, Bharya Sreshthatamaha Saka, Bharya Moolam Trivargasya, Bharya Moolam Tarishyataha. So she is the root cause of everything. And not only that, she even threatens him. Yatime Yajamanayaha Vajanam na Karishyasi. If you do not take my word, then what will happen? Dushyanta Shatata Murda Tataha Te Adya Spudishyati. Your head will blast into 100 pieces. She is vehement. And it is the same idea that even Draupadi, when she was asked to, when Dharmaputra plays the dice game and loses her, and Pratikamini is sent to bring her, then she questions him. You please ask that Kitava. She didn't say, ask my husband. You ask that Kitava, what should you ask him? Gachatvam Kitavam Gatva Sabhayam Pricha Sudaja. You please go to the same Sabha and you ask that dice play expert, Dharmaputra, Kim na purvam parajaishihi atmanam atavanumam. Whether you staked yourself and lost it, after that you are going to stake me. In that case, you cannot do. Because Drupadasya Putri Aham. I am the daughter of Drupata, I am the princess. Whereas you have already become a slave of Duryodhana, you cannot put me as a stake. Therefore, that is not legal. Legally, it is not tenable. She questions. She doesn't simply, submit to that. So they had their own voice. And this we are able to find in many things. And now coming to the woman as in the level of God, of course we all know we worship not only as goddess, even the rivers are named as Gange, Yamune, Jeva, Godavari, Saraswati, Narmade, Sindhu, Kaveri, Jalasmin, Sannidhi, Kuru, everything. Even Prithvi. In fact, there is a tradition, more so in the north I have seen, particularly in the Himalayan ranges, before they step out from the house, they touch the ground and they pray, Padasparsham Kshamaswami. You please forgive me, I am walking over you. You are our mother. So that kind of an approach we have in our tradition. And in Kenopanishad, it's a small Upanishad, but a very beautiful idea. I will just make it brief. 5 minutes. In fact, suddenly one light appears. And the gods, they were thinking that they won over the Rakshasa because of their own strength. And they could not understand what is this sudden light appearing there. Then they sent Agni, your light, you please find out who is this. Te Agni Mabruvanne Jataveda Vijanihi Kimetate Akshamiti, Yakshamiti. What is this Yaksha? You please find out. Then he went to that light and he introduced himself. I am Agni, Sarvam Deheyam, I can burn everything. Ididam Prithivyam, whatever is there on the earth, I can burn everything. Then that light, Tasmai Trinam Nidadav, just a small piece of blade it gave. You please try to burn this. He failed. He could not do it. Tanna Shashaga Dagdum, he could not burn this. He went back. Then Vayu said, I will do. I will go and ask. Ata Vayu Mabruvanne, he went there. The same thing, you try to lift this Trina. Tatrina Shashaka Adadum. He could not even lift that small blade of grass. Then Indra himself went there. Suddenly that light disappeared. And there appeared one effulgence, very beautifully Kenopanishad says, Sa tasminneva akashe striyam ajagama bahushobhamanam umam heimavatim tam hovaja kimeta dakshamiti. So there, we have the earliest reference to Uma, the daughter of Parvati. And then subsequently they realized about the Param Brahma. So here again, because of the appearance of this goddess Uma only, they were able to realize that it is because of the Shakti of the Parabrahman that they were able to win all the battles against the Rakshasas, not at all by their own strength. And as people born on earth, we are indebted to many. Jayamanaha ve brahmanaha tribihi ranavan jayate brahmacharyena rishibhyaha yajnena devebhyaha prajaya pitribhyaha. And even that grihasthasrama, sarva upakarakshamam asramam, it is called as an asrama which is helpful to all the other three, brahmacharya, vanaprastha and sannyas also. Sannyasin has to come and take that bhiksha from a grihastha only. Therefore, grihasthasrama is utkrishta, that's what the Dharma Shastras tell us. And even in as a life of a grihastha, grihini is very important. That's why even Kalidasa says, coming to the Kavya also, because Kavyas reflect whatever is taught in the Vedas only. Kalidasa says, Prayena grihini netraha kanyarteshu kudumbinaha. Only through the grihini he is able to see, he will be able to arrange the marriage and other things. And that's why when Parvati wanted to marry Shiva and she failed earlier, she thought by Saundarya she can win Shiva. Nininda Rupam Hridayana Parvati. She condemned her own so-called beauty. I was not able to impress him. Then she did rigorous penance, and it is in this penance that many names also have originated. Now, there's a very famous word, aparna, and it may be of interest to the students in particular. This name has occurred because of this na vidyante parnani asyaha tapasi, in whose penance she started, she stopped taking even the leaves, upavasa, kevalam vayu bhakshana. Therefore, people started calling her as Aparna. And then she won over Shiva. Shiva even told, Adya Prabhati Avanadange Tavasmi Dasaha Kritaha Tabobihi. I have been literally purchased by your power of penance. And even there she said, we cannot just like that marry. You please approach my father. Dada me bhubradam nadaha pramani kritam iti. Then he had to send somebody. Shiva did not have any relatives. Then he thought of Rishini Saptaswarana Sasmara Smara Shasana. He thought of the 7 sages, and they appeared. Then he told her, I want to marry Parvati. You please approach Himavan with this mission, on this mission. Then there he says, Aryapi Arundhati Tatra Sahayam Kartumarhati. Because you have to take the help of Arundhati also. Prayena evam vide karye purandrinam pragalbada. In such matters, you gents, you will be simply content with what is the feast given or reception kya hai, buffet system or something. But they alone know the nuances of this marriage. Therefore, you take up Arundhati also. Why Kalidasa has used this? Because in the Vedic mantra also it is there. There is a lot of connection between what we have come across in the Puranas and Kavyas to directly to the Vivaha mantras that we come across. There's one mantra. Atayenam uttarena, Saptarashiha pradamam Kritikanam Arundhatim Yede Druvadam Ha Ninyuhu Shat Kritika Mukhya Yogam Vahanti Yam Asmagam Edat to Ashtami. With her, you are the 7 sages. Now, when Arundhati also joins, it becomes Satu Ashtami Bhavati. This is a Vedic mantra. Kalidasa has reflected the same thing. So, there is a lot of connection between this. And even, many of the sampradaya that we have, like Laja Homa or Saptapadi or even Mangalya Dharana also. Somehow, there is a discordant note created in this. They say that Mangalya Sutta Dharana is a purely Dravidian culture. It is not part of the Aryan culture. But we have so many references. Sutra Shobhita Kantara. In Lalita Sahasranama also we come across this. Therefore, a lot of references there. It has been very much a Vedic practice also. Mangalya Dharanam, like that, what are all the things to be completed in a marriage? Because even today, according to Indian legal experts and rules, if the Saptapadi is not done, marriage is not complete. Of course, we have experts on legal matters. So, marriage will be complete only after Saptapadi is performed. And what does that Saptapadi say, the Saptapadi mantra say? It says, Saptarasheha Pradamam Kritikanam Arundhatim Yede Druvadam Ninyuhu. In the Saptapadi mantra, see how beautiful mantra it is, how it accommodates the wife in his journey of life. Sakha Saptapada Baba, Sakhaye Saptapada Babuva, Sakyam Te Gameyam, Sakyate Mayosham, Sakyadi Me Mayoshtaha, Samayava Mangala Sankalpavahi. Let us be friends in this journey of life. I will not let you go, you should also not leave me. So let us make this sankalpa together in this journey of life. So he accepts her as a Sakha, as a very close friend. That is the meaning of the Saptapati mantra. In fact, thanks to Swami Dayananda Saraswati's vision, all these mantras, Samskara Vidhi, a separate book he has brought out. What is the meaning of these mantras? people should know what mantra we are chanting and what is the meaning, what is the significance in this context. And not only that, when the girl is sent to the husband's house, you know, she is not sent there to serve there. The mantra says, Samratni Shusre Bhava, Samratni Shusruvam Bhava, Nanandari Samratni Bhava, Samratni Adidev Rushu. You live like a queen there in that house. So that freedom is given. They have visualized this. So whether it is a mother or a wife or in the goddess level, you know, lot of importance is given to the womanhood in the Vedas. And just in brief, I wanted to bring your attention to this. We are going to have very enlightening lectures after this. And I thank you all for this opportunity given to me to chair this session. Thank you very much.
Before the next presentation, it is my moral duty to propose the formal vote of thanks to revered Professor C.S. Radhakrishnan sir. Professor C.S. Radhakrishnan sir was the former HOD of Department of Sanskrit, Pondicherry University. Sir served as a head Department of Sanskrit, Pondicherry University 6 years, and under sir's guidance I learned a lot. I was the junior most colleague of Professor C.S. Radhakrishnan sir, and when I came all the way from the JNU for interview as assistant professor of Department of Sanskrit, Pondicherry University, and sir was heading the department and he was in the panel, and sir recruited me, and I feel sir is my guide, friend and philosopher. Each and every aspect of my academic journey, sir guides me. Friends, now I would like to propose the formal vote of thanks to sir. Sir has enlightened a lot. Whatever concepts are depicted in our Vedic texts as references, sir quoted a lot. We have been enlightened. Sir's thought-provoking lecture, and on behalf of the Department of Sanskrit, Pondicherry University, on behalf of the Vedic Vidya Kendra, and on my own behalf, I extend my hearty thanks to you, sir. Thank you so much.
ज्ञानानंदमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवम् उपास्महे विशेषवित्पारिषदेषु नादविदग्धगोष्ठी समराङ्गणेषु जुगीषतो मे कवितार्किकेन्द्रान् जिह्वाग्रसिंहासनमभ्युपेयाः. Okay, that's nice. So can you go for the first slide? Okay, I am sure that I will stick to the time, that I will finish within 10 minutes. I try to concise what I would like to say. So yeah, with regards to the topic given, women in Vedas, I just want to think a little bit beyond that, thinking beyond womanhood, Rishikas and Brahmavadinis. So the topic itself shows us that how we regarded them. I quote again, how we regarded them, because this we is very much important. I won't say how they were regarded or how the rishis were the rishis or regarded them. I would say we, that is we regarded them. Thanks to the previous chairperson, that she beautifully mentioned that because of some inclusions in the later period, we forgot our root and we kept on changing. But the thing is, we have to hold on to our roots. So that's why I said how we regarded them. So go ahead, please. Yeah, I think the introduction is not needed because you might have heard a lot of things. So what is this Rishikas and Brahmavadinis? Rishika is nothing but a Rishi. That is a woman Rishi. So we know the definition for a Rishi. Rishayo mantra drishtaraha, right? Like the same way, the women Rishis who have seen or who have composed or who have explained the mantras, they are called Rishikas. And Brahmavadini, that is an interesting term. So we could say, according to grammar, Brahma Vishaye Vadati Athava Brahmam Vadayati iti. Like she argues about the Brahma, that is the nature of Brahma, which actually points out that they had discussed, means they had a chance to discuss the philosophical aspects. So quickly, since we know this reference from Rig Veda about Lopamudra, but in my presentation I would like to highlight a few mantras and try to just show, like explain the translation to you, so that we can understand how they, how the reverence have been given to them. So this is the one mantra from Rig Veda. Again, since we are in a common place, I am just reciting the mantras, all the mantras without the swaras. So, Ano Badra Kraturum Purayantim Prajam Devim Lopamudram Avamahe. That's very, very important. Lopamudram Avamahe. All the deities or the rishis who chanted this, they say that we invoke Lopamudra and they request the following things: the divine seal, that is the sage, Rishika. So this is the one reference that shows that even rishis and the performers of the sacrifices regarded Lopamudra as owing a best knowledge, because usually we know Agastya Lopamudra or something like that, but here this reference shows us that how they treated her as an knowledgeable person. And can you quickly go to the next one? Yeah, this is very, very important, that this particular reference, that is this 85th sukta from the 10th mandala of Rig Veda, consists of 47 hymns, mantras, for which the Rishika is Savitri. So Savitri has saying this, of course, Rishayo mantra drishtara, with reference to that, these are the mantras belong to Savitri, and in that sukta she not only discusses about the Soma, etc., but also she discusses, actually we have to say, she codifies the marriage rituals. That's an interesting thing. So this is one, of course, one hymn that have taken from, that has been taken from that. Samanjanena samanovrataha sammitaha samyam dadatam. So the translation is given here. So Samanjanena, by uniting these two. Actually she was explaining the rituals and codifying that. At that time she says why they are united. So let the couple be united. Samanjanena samanovrataha samyam dadatam. Let them be united in art. Samanovrataha, following each other. Sammitaha, by united each other through hearts. So this is very interesting. The same will be repeated at the end for another purpose. Next one please. Yeah, this is a famous thing that we know. We always say Vagdevi, 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 right? So the reference for that is, actually we could say that how confident they were, in the sense the sages, Rishikas were. So here if we consider Vagdevi, she acknowledges, in the sense she confidently says, Aham Rudrebihi Vasubihi Charami. Means I go upon them. That's what I said. I move with Rudras and Vasus. Aham Surya Uta Somabhibravaha Aham Mitra Varunebha Bibharmi. This is very important. Aham Mitra Varunebha Bibharmi. It's more like that I bear them, in the sense I am bearing means all deities. I am residing in all deities as speech, which is again considered as how confident they were in projecting themselves. So this is what I wanted to actually highlight a bit more. So this is Brahmavadini. So Brahma Vadati iti Brahmavadini. They discussed about the they had the philosophical discourse. Usually we know that philosophical discourse takes between a teacher and a student or some intellectuals. But this is interesting. This reference actually, I will give you the next reference, but these are the names of these Brahmavadinis. Sorry, Goda, Gosha, Vishwavara, Apalopin. Actually, these references are found in Aksharanukramani, Arshanukramani and Brihad Devata. The book, both of them are available online. We can see it is. There are like 27 at least Rishikas and Brahmavadinis. 27 Rishikas and Brahmavadinis are listed out in that Arshanukramani. This is what I wanted to highlight. So this is that philosophical discourse that takes between actually a husband and her wife, that is again Yajnavalkya and Gargi. And it starts, it's in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. It says actually Maitreyi also takes place in the discourse, but this is interesting. See, she asks the philosophical questions. She asks that Atahenam Gargi Vachak Navi. Gargi Vachak Navi is the female sage here. She asked Yajnavalkya iti how vacha. She called upon Yajnavalkya. What has to be, means what is the question? You see, Yadidam Sarvam Apsu Otam Cha Protam. This Ota Prota has different interpretation, but in this context we have to take in which it pervades or in which it has its origin. Yadidam Sarvam Apsu Ota Protam. Otam Cha Protam Cha. If everything is from the water, Protamcha Kasmin Kalu Apaha Otascha Protascheti. She asks from where water were produced. Then Gargi said Vayo from water, from air. Then again she asks the next question. Kasmin Kalu Vayor Otaf Protaha. Where does the Vayu has its origin from? So he says Antariksha Loka. Then Gandh. She keeps on asking questions. All this we can know that all these questions belongs to at least a certain point. First, I have not given the whole passages. At first, to the substances, what we call as Padartha Patala, like that. So she had this Darshanika Vichara. Then she slowly moves to Vedanta Vichara. At the end, she asks, okay, Kasmin Kalu Brahmalokaha. After explaining all these things, she asks, where does this Brahmaloka has its origin? Then now you see the interesting answer by Yajnavalkya. So Vacha Gargiti Mati Prakshi. Don't ask more, because actually the context goes like that, because next he has to answer other disciples. One of them is again Maitreyi. So the discussion goes on again and again. So that's why if you can see, this is a big evidence that we could say that they involve themselves in philosophical discourses. Beyond that, as I said earlier, I said that the 85th sukta of the 10th mandala of Rig Veda actually belongs to Savitri, and it codifies also the rituals, right? And there are other mantras where I think you might have been told that we regarded them as deities, etc. But these are the references to that. So you can see Aditihi Dyauhu, Aditihi Antariksham, Aditihi Mata cha Pita Ataputraha. So this Aditi had a major role in Rishi Mandala. All the devatas, because in Rig Veda it says Adityaha. When Sayana comments upon the word Aditya, he says Aditya Putra. We consider that okay, Aditya is none other than sun, but in many contexts he says Aditya is none other than Aditi Putraha, the Devaha, the deities. So she was the one who actually played a major role in the Vedic age as a leading woman. So Aditihi Vishwam, everything is Aditi. Amritam Aditihi, again she is the nectar. Panchajana Aditihi, Jatamati. So all this, especially this 10th Sukta, this I think the 10th hymn from this first mandala and the 89th Sukta actually highlights how they, means what is their major role of Aditi in Vedic age. And the next one is very well known to everyone, Savitri, that is every day we practice that Gayatri mantra. But here I would like to quickly cite one reference. Now when we talk about this Gayatri mantra, Veda, etc., I think you might have heard, I don't know if it is repetitive, sorry for that. So what is the reference for this? If you say that okay, women can read Vedas, women can do so and so, it is pratishidda, like prohibited, etc. There are some claims like this, there are some claims they can read. We can find many references that they can read Veda. One such reference is found in Paninian grammar, where we can find Jate Rastri Vishayad Ayopadat. This is the sutra where it prescribes the niche, that is a affix added after a word to form a feminine word. There he gives an example, Kati. For that, the commentator writes Katena Proktam Adhyeti. The one who read the Katashaka, Katena Proktam is Katashaka, the one who read the Katashaka is called Kati. So to justify that, Vasudeva Dekshita, the sub-commentator, he highlights that Pura Kalpetu Narinam. He quotes from, I think if I am not wrong, correct me if I am wrong, sorry, Veda Kalpalata. He quotes from that, Pura Kalpetu Narinam Maunji Bandhanam Ishyate. They had the Upanayana Samskara. Adhyapanam cha Vedanam Savitri. Everyone says Savitri Vachanam, but I think because I have referred to the Savitri Vachanam Tata, they can even recite Savitri, that is the Gayatri mantra. So that's the reference for that. And yeah, again the walk comes. And this is the final point that I want to highlight, that codification of this marriage rituals. So this is actually said by Savitri there in that particular sukta, that is the 85th sukta of the 10th mandala. Sham patni, sham patihi, sham patironostu, sham jeshtaha, sham kanishtaha, sham sammanaha. She codifies the mantras that there actually explains that the auspicious should reach, or may all these people be auspicious. Who are they? Patni. Actually it's as it is in Veda, that's why I put it Patni. So Patni, Patihi, husband, Anovastu, then Jeshtaha, the elder, especially the brother, and the Kanishtaha, younger, and Sammanaha. Let all of us unite in this ceremony. So that's it. I think, yeah. So the main point that I wanted to highlight is, instead of like trying to search for references, we have many secondary literature from Indians. For example, I think many of you may know this book called Glimpses of Vedic and Ancient Civilization by Shashi Tiwari, where he has 2 chapters that deal with the status of women in Vedic age. And again, for that it is actually a mere inspiration from one more Indian scholar, sorry for forgetting the name. All these secondary literatures are found online. So what we have to do, the thing is, we have to actually preserve them by understanding and by explaining it more with proper references. For example, Shashi Tiwari explains everything, but he cites the references. He didn't explain it more. So we should try to integrate our ideas and try to incorporate the meanings of Sayana, the interpretation of Sayana, with reference to the citations given by, of course, Shashi Tiwari, and other secondary literatures are also available. So the one and only thing to conclude is, yes, we had a great regards, and we are having a great regards towards this womanhood. Now also we can see there are Rishikas, Brahmavadinis, there are Sannyasinis who think about these philosophical discourses, as well as they also think about especially the Vedantic aspects. Thank you one and all for this opportunity. Thank you.
Om Suttamaya Varda Vedmata Prachodayantam Pavamani Dujanam Ayu Pranam Pashum Shetim Renam Brahmavatasam Mahim Datta Vrajatta Brahmalokam. Puji Acharya Ji and chairpersons and Mata Shakti and their friends. We know that there are a lot of narratives they have mentioned in the morning. One narrative is that Sanatana Dharma against women. It suppresses women. There is sati. It's all wrong. There's a recently conference involving the government of Tamil Nadu, where these things have been propagated. And very few people have countered that without counting the points they have raised, just like in general, Sanatana this and that. Sanatana Dharma is based on Veda, as we know, Sanatana. And I have quoted Veda mantra. Sutta Maya Varda Veda Mata. Veda itself Mata. And I would say that नारी है, माता है तो दयानंद है, नहीं दयानंद नहीं होता. और see, we have seen this, the meaning of this Veda mantra. There are 7 boons it is asked for, and long life, energetic life. All Vedic teachings are life elevating, life ennobling, and which is relevant to philosophy, relevant to modern life, modern society. Next. And you are also, this nowadays is the Manuvad. We know that Manu has got lots of prescripts, and I have seen many books. They only quote prescripts. They never quote the proper verse. This happened now. See what Manu says. Yatra nares pujante ramanti tatra devata. Yatra rasana pujante sarva tatra phalakraya. Now how can the same Manu say opposite of that? And that was the same book. No author contradicts himself. That's in the same book. So this must be understood. And what is there? So next, Manu, Santushto Bharya Bharta. Bharya Bharta, husband wife, and mutually. Husband should be satisfied with wife and wife with husband. Equal. The two equal. Adhanarishwar, that is our this mythology. And Adayini, it's Manu. I have seen in Ambedkar's books, he has quoted a lot of verses from this Manu Samriti, all negative verses. And the negative is opposite, just in next, after a few verses, just opposite. Whether meat eating or the women or the Shudras, all opposite. Why they quote the only negative? They don't read themselves. As Acharya ji has said morning, mood को पकड़ो फिर आगे चलो. Mood है ही नहीं. We are following whatever these Britishers have written, what movies have written. Same thing we are following. We don't need ourselves, even our great people. And one more point, this sacrifices come many times here. Please don't use the word sacrifice. See, I am an expert in yoga. Yoga means union. I will not say I am practicing union. It will be a different idea. Sacrifice, all Muslims are there every day. They weren't sacrificing. It is a meaning. It is a wrong interpretation. And because सर्वधर्म संभाव वेदों में भी sacrifice है, वेदों में बलि है. यही is not sacrifice. वेदों यही पितृ यही. अतिथि आए sacrifice कर दो. ये क्या होता है? यही don't. It is untranslatable. Many words are there. Dharma is not religion. So, and they are all short words. Dharma, Karma, Yoga, Ved, all short words. Beautiful. They have vast meaning. They have no word in other languages. They are untranslatable. Don't translate them, please. Say ye. Don't say sacrifice. 2-3 times this word has been used, please. So, now Bhagavad Gita. This is Manusmriti, Bhagavad Gita. Say what he says about Nari. Kirti Vach. Chanari Nam, Smriti Medha Dhriti Kshama. These are the qualities of a woman. They are great qualities. And woman, we'll see now Veda. Veda is still higher. It's very positive word. We'll see these are the inner qualities, the mental qualities, which make a woman special. Of course, these qualities are men also, but women, they are special. Kshama. They are more compassionate, and they have better emotional quotient in the women. And next, now see, this is all just quoted by Dr. Radhakrishnan, Samragi Shishre Bhava. Now become Samragi, not only the Rani, you're king, then you have monarch, still higher. Be a Samragi. That doesn't mean that you just try to be higher than this one. Where next verse will come. This means that you are not higher to them, not as your servant, but you are managing them very well with your good qualities. We say next verse will come. See this, the next one. Suna. Yoga Suna means you be agreeable. This is Veda mantra only. So you have power. You are very Lakshmi, but agreeable, like that. Come back to us. So, she chooses a friend. Swayam sa mitram manute. Apne aap. Swayam sa mitra is her husband. Manute chooses. I don't know Sanskrit because I am, and I have some surgery in the mouth, so some problem with my speech. I have done Sanskrit only for 1 year. But for the last 2-3 years, I am reading Veda now. I have done work in I am physiology professor, and the yoga also done a lot of work. But for the last 2 years, I got full Veda. I am reading as if I am doing daily satsang of the rishis. It's a beautiful. I know Hindi enough. Hindi is good, so I can manage it. And I have memorized many Veda mantras with the idea of probably writing in future. You a lot of ideas. And so my Sanskrit will not be good, but okay, typing is good. Choose his own friend. That is the power. Only in our culture. And so now the woman says, Aham Ketu. Ketu is Dwaj, the flag. Flag is higher. Flag is first. तो मैं आगे नहीं हूँ, मैं आगे हूँ, मैं सबसे ऊपर हूँ. अहम केतु, अहम मूर्धा, what है? विवाचिनी, बोलती हूँ. I speak a lot, but speak not nonsense. As Acharya ji said, morning, you अपने जड़ को पकड़ लो. And then you go ahead, do whatever you want. But be sanskar, basic should be there. Otherwise, what we do, we follow the films and TV and it was commercial. Woman's body is commercialized. So have your strong roots, then do whatever you want to do. आगे बढ़ो. So I am Richard. So you are invincible, you are victorious. Ashadasi, you are invincible. And you are Sahasri Viryasi, you have thousands of powers, most inner powers, spiritual powers, the psychological powers, physical powers also are there. There is a fight also. And Ma Jinva, you enlighten, you make me strong. So you are strong, make me strong. Husband tells his wife. Next. Samhotram sam. So joy, this point was also raised, that whether we can speak, can chant Gayatri Mantra. They used to sit in yajna together. In yajna also, Sammanam, they used to go for the bar also together. You are staying for the yajna. You have, that means you are. So why, how can the nowadays acharyas, women have no, as this morning it was raised the point, yajna point nahi hai, they cannot chant Gayatri Mantra, but they are. It's Vedas allows. They sit on the yajna. So they used to go giant yajnas as well as battles, as Indradi. Next, Indradi also Dr. Radhakrishnan told this. Ambitame Naditame, you are the dearest mother. In Tamil also, Amma. Again short word. Beautiful, respectable, and powerful word. That is woman. So Saraswati, now she is the dearest mother, dearest viewer, and goddess Saraswati, and make me famous. So the husband is telling her, so you are famous, I am not famous, please make me famous. That is, you encourage me. Next. Now, Tristo Devi, three Devis, Ila, the Devi of land, Saraswati, Devi of knowledge, and Mahi, Devi of Vaj. So, you know, our body is made of the Panchabhut. So, we have respect for the Devi of the world, of this nature, and we are encouraged, we have to protect the nature, not by worshipping Devi, putting flowers, but the nature, which is represented by Ila, I would say, represented. So respect Ila, by worship Ila doesn't mean you put the flowers and go on putting, but you respect the environment, the mother, Mata Bhumi Putroham. So that's there. The Saraswati, knowledge, actual knowledge, and shared knowledge. That's how you do puja of Saraswati, by imparting knowledge, by sharing knowledge with others. And then you see that woman has to, so much powers are there, but there is limitation also. There has to be restriction also. Otherwise they go astray. Girls want to become, they want to follow the models, the film actresses. So this is आधा पैसे से नीचे देखो, ऊपर में देखो, चलते चलते आधा पैसे से ऊपर नहीं, संतराम पादुको, cover the body properly. Oh, Sitri Brahma, I've just quoted. Sitri Brahma. That is respect. We respect you. We give freedom. Do study, but with the limits. So there has to be decency. So that restriction is there. So next. Finish. Okay. So what we are seeing that Ved will give so much respect, so much importance. It elevates womanhood. And this is our culture. Now Sanatan Dharma, there is a lot of confusion. Sanatan. What is Sanatan? Because nowadays what Hindus are following, only name is Sanatan. But actually we don't follow Sanatan Dharma. We follow the other things and give wrong impression of Sanatan Dharma to other people. Please understand what is Sanatan Dharma. Ved and Shastra. And any book, there is so many books are there, which follow Ved, that is fine. We do not follow, as long as they follow, fine. In Guru Nanak Dev, blessed Guru Nanak Dev, he said, असंख्य ग्रंथ मुख्य वेद पाठ गुरु नानक देव का है. बहुत सारी किताबें हैं, बाद में बनी है. मुख्य वेद पाठ पहले वेद है. We must go to roots and then read other books. Understand the basic first. So thank you very much for this opportunity.
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. मम शोधपत्रस्य शीर्षक अस्ति वैदिकसाहित्ये नारीचेतना. वागार्थो इव सम्पृक्तो वागार्थ प्रतिपत्तये जगतपितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ. वाक् अस्ति तस्य अर्थः अस्ति. उभौ शिवशक्तौ. शिवः चेतनारूप तथा पार्वती तस्य शक्तिरूपा. शिवे तु चेतना अस्ति, परन्तु संसारे शक्तिहीन रूपेण तस्य चेतनाया उपयोगिता नास्ति. शक्ति शक्नोति इति शक्यते जेतुम् अनया. अपि च अस्य शब्दस्य अनया अन्यपर्याया अपि सन्ति. बलं, शौर्यं, तरः, स्वः, प्राणः, पराक्रम आदयः. नूर्नरस्य वा धर्माचारो यस्यां सा नारी. चतुर्वेदेषु व्यक्तेः धर्म यथार्थरूपेण वर्णितः. ऋषीणां चेतनायां यादृश अनुभव परिस्फुरित भवति स खलु ऋषीणां चेतना. तत्र ऋषीणां कण्ठे नारीविषयकसूक्तेषु तथा ऋषिकाणां मन्त्रेषु अपि नारीचेतना एव वर्णिता. विविधसूक्तेषु यथा वाक्, सरस्वती, उषा आदिषु सूक्तेषु तथा उपनिषत्सु यथा केनोपनिषदि, बृहदारण्यकोपनिषदि आदि उपनिषत्सु नारीचेतना वयं द्रष्टुं शक्नुमः. यद्यपि बहूनि उदाहरणानि सन्ति, तथापि अस्मिन् शोधपत्रे अहं किञ्चित् उल्लेखं करोमि. चेतना आत्मना तादात्म्येन च सह बद्धं भवति. तत्र आत्मजागरूकता अस्ति. अहङ्कारस्य पारगमनं च अस्ति. तत्र आत्मजागरूकता अर्थात् स्वविचारभावना अनुभवस्य चिन्तनक्षमता. तत्र आध्यात्मिकप्रथा अहङ्कारस्य अतिक्रमणं कृत्वा गहनतरं सार्वभौमिकं चैतन्यम् अनुभवितुं बलं ददति. चेतना अस्ति आत्मबलस्य अनुभवेन आनन्दः, तेनैव प्रकृतः आनन्दः इति. वैदिकग्रन्थेषु स्त्रियः प्रायः चैतन्यस्य ब्रह्माण्डशक्तेः च भिन्नरूपं मूर्तरूपं दर्शयन्तः देवीभिः सह सम्बन्धः भवन्ति. देवी न केवलं दिव्यगुणैः अपि तु चैतन्यस्य सक्रिय व्यक्तिशक्ति प्रतिपादनार्थम् अपि पूज्यन्ते. अतः तासां दिव्यता, ज्ञानं, प्रज्ञा, संगीतयुक्ता देवी सरस्वती वैदिकसाहित्ये चैतन्यविचारस्य विशेषतया केन्द्रमस्ति. सरस्वती ज्ञानस्य प्रवाहस्य जगतः परमबोधस्य च प्रतिनिधित्वं करोति. यत् स्त्रीचेतना उच्चतरप्रज्ञया आध्यात्मिकजागरूकतया च सह आन्तरिकरूपेण सम्बन्धः इति सूचयति. उषासूक्तमस्ति चैतन्यस्य जागरणस्य प्रतीकात्मकसूक्तं. तया सर्वत्र स्पष्टता आयाति. उपनिषत्सु अपि एतादृशानि उदाहरणानि प्राप्यते एव. यथा बृहदारण्यकोपनिषदि मैत्रेय्या धारणा. सा संसारस्य विषयं त्यक्त्वा आत्मज्ञानं लब्धुं गच्छति. तत्र तस्य जागरूकता दृश्यते ज्ञानं प्रति, आध्यात्मिकतां प्रति. केनोपनिषदि अपि पश्यामः यत् उमा अस्ति शक्तिरूपा. सा देवान् परब्रह्मण शक्त्या सह साक्षात्कारं कारयति. तत्र अन्ये देवा यत्र ब्रह्मणस्वरूपं ज्ञातुं न पारयति. अत्र बोध्यते यत् नारी यदि चेतनरूपा भवति तत्र तासां मध्ये सूक्ष्मदृष्टिः जागृता भवति. अर्थात् ब्रह्मणचेतना शक्त्या एव बोध्यते. उपसंहार. तत्र दृश्यते यत् सामाजिक संरचनाभिः कदाचित् स्त्रियः बाह्यभूमिकाः सीमिताः भवन्ति स्म. तथापि वेदेषु स्त्रियः उच्चतरचेतनां प्राप्तुं समर्थाः आसन्. यद्यपि ताः तेषां सांसारिकं कार्यं निर्वहन्ति, तथापि तेषां मध्ये तेषाम् आत्मशक्तिविषये चैतन्यम् आसीत्. अतः उदात्तकण्ठे तेषां मतं श्रूयते मन्त्रमध्ये. वर्तमाने अपि वयं पश्यामः यत् यस्मिन् गृहे नारीमध्ये एतादृशाः गुणाः प्राप्यन्ते तेषां सन्तति ज्ञानयुक्ताः भवन्ति तथा चैतन्ययुक्ता नार्यः अपि वर्तमानसमाजे स्वस्थस्थाने प्रतिष्ठिता पूजिताश्च। तस्य उदाहरणानि अस्यां सङ्गोष्ठ्यां वयं द्रष्टुं पारयामः। तत् दृश्यते ब्रौचर् मध्ये एव, तदेव खलु। धन्यवादः।
सर्वेभ्यः नमो नमः। मम विषयः वैदिक समाजे शिक्षायां संस्कृतौ च नारीणां स्थानम्। कस्यचित् देशस्य समाजव्यवस्थायां महत्त्वपूर्णः एको विषयः हि नारीशिक्षा। एकं प्रसिद्धं वचनम् अस्ति यत् एकः पुरुषः शिक्षितो भवति चेत् एकः जनः एव शिक्षितो भवति। एका नारी शिक्षिता भवति चेत् सम्पूर्णोऽपि परिवारः शिक्षितो भवति। अतः समाजस्य सार्विकोन्नतये नारीशिक्षा अत्यावश्यकी। विविधदेशानां शिक्षाव्यवस्थायाः विश्लेषणं क्रियते चेत् इदम् अवगम्यते यत् यस्मिन् देशे नारीशिक्षायाः अवसरः अधिकः स देशः तावान् उन्नतः। शिक्षामाध्यमेन नारीणां सामाजिकव्यवस्थायाः समुन्नतिः कर्तुं शक्यते, तेन च सामाजिक अग्रगतिः सम्भवति। भारतीय इतिहासे नारीशिक्षाया नाना विवर्तनानि परिलक्ष्यन्ते अस्माभिः। कदाचित् नारीशिक्षा परतोषिता, कदाचित् अवहेलिता। सामान्यतया सामाजिकश्रेणीषु इयम् आबद्धा आसीत्। अत्र अस्माभिः प्राचीनयुगे मध्ययुगे च भारतवर्षे नारीशिक्षा कथम् आसीत् इति विषये आलोचयिष्यते। प्राचीन भारतीय सभ्यता विश्लेषणेन इदं ज्ञायते यत् विविधयुगेषु समाजे नारीणां स्थानस्य उन्नतिः अवनतिः वा स्यात् चेदपि नारीशिक्षा ग्रहणम् अव्याहतम् आसीत्। वैदिकयुगे नार्यः शिक्षाविषये स्वतन्त्रताम् उपभुञ्जन्। ऋग्वेदस्य विविधस्तोत्रेषु इदं दृश्यते यत् ऋग्वैदिकसमाजे पुत्रकामे सत्यपि कन्यापत्वौ सत्यां तस्यै कन्यायै शिक्षा दीयते स्म। तस्मिन् युगे नार्यः वैदिकस्तोत्राणि अरचयन्। घोषा, लोपामुद्रा, विश्ववारा इत्यादयः विदुषः नार्यः वैदिकसाहित्यादेव ज्ञायन्ते। बृहदारण्यक उपनिषदि परिलक्ष्यते यत् जनकराज्ये राज्ञः विदेहस्य राज्यसभायां गार्गी याज्ञवल्क्ययोः मध्ये तर्कविद्यायां या प्रतिस्पर्धा जाता तत्र गार्गी याज्ञवल्क्यं पराजयत्। अनेन इदं ज्ञायते यत् प्राचीनयुगे शिक्षाविषये नारीणां स्थानं समुन्नतम् आसीत्। परवर्तिनि काले नारीणां स्थानं किञ्चित् अधोगतं चेदपि नारीशिक्षा सम्यक्तया एव प्रचलिता आसीत्। अस्मिन् काले बहवः नार्यः विवाहात् पूर्वं यावत् विद्याचर्चाम् अकुर्वन्। काचन आजीवनम् अनुराः सत्याः धर्मदर्शनविषये चर्चां कुर्वन्। एता ब्रह्मवादिन्यः उच्यन्ते। सुविशाले संस्कृतसाहित्ये च समाजव्यवस्था प्राप्यते। सा प्राधान्येन पुरुषेण शासिता चेदपि नारीणाम् अधिकारो न्यूनीकृतो नासीत्। वैदिकसमाजे अध्ययन, शास्त्रचर्चा, सम्पत्ति अधिकारलाभादिषु विविधविषयेषु नार्यः पुरुषैः सह समानाधिकारम् उपभुञ्जत्। तदा नार्यः साधिकारविषये सचेतनाः आसन्। क्वचित् ते अधिकाराः रक्षिताः, क्वचित् ते अधिकाराः लङ्घिताः इतीदम् आलोचनम् अधः क्रियते। भारतीय संस्कृतौ नार्यः उत्कृष्ट गौरव अधिकारित्वेन सर्वदा विराजमानाः। सृष्टेः आरम्भे परमात्मा आत्मनः द्विधा विभागम् अकरोत्। वामभागे स स्त्री, दक्षिणभागे स च पुरुषः। स्वेच्छामयः स्वेच्छया च द्विधरूपो बभूव। स्त्रीरूपो वामभागांशो दक्षिणांशो पुमान् स्मृतः। भारतवर्षे वेद, पुराण, स्मृति, इतिहासादिषु स्त्रीपुरुषस्य अर्धाङ्गिनी इति स्वीकृतम्। स्त्रीप्राप्तेः प्राक् पुरुषः असम्पूर्णो भवति इति धर्मशास्त्रे उक्तम्। যাবন্য বিদ্যন্তে যায়াং তাবদর্থৌ ভবেৎ পুমানি ইতি यत्र सती स्त्री विराजते तत्स्थानं निस्संशयं तीर्थस्थानम इति पद्मपुराणे समुल्लिखितम् यस्मिन् गृहे पत्या पत्नी सन्तुष्टा पत्न्या च पतिः सन्तुष्ट तद् गृहं सदा मङ्गलमयं भवति यत्र तुष्यति भर्ता स्त्रीं स्त्रिया भर्ता च तुष्यति तत्र वैस्मानि कल्याणं सम्पद्यते पदे पदे नार्यः साक्षात् देवी लोक्षी स्वरूपाः इति स्मृतिशास्त्रकृतः मन्यन्ते भगवता मनुना स्त्री विषये उक्तं यत् यदि पितृभातृपति देवोरादयः आत्मकल्याणम् इच्छन्ति तर्हि स्त्रीणाम् आदरं यथोचितं सम्माननं च कृत्वा त्वाः आभूषणेन भूषणीयाः सन्ति मनु महाराजस्य पत्नी पुत्रेष्टु योग्यकाले कन्या सन्तानं वाञ्छति इति श्रीमद्भगवते दृश्यते तत्र श्रद्धा मनः पत्नी होतारं समयाते द्रुहित्रम् उपागम्य प्रणिपत्य पयव्रता धर्मसूत्रे माता श्रेष्ठ गुरो इति उक्तं यतो हि सन्तानस्य प्रारम्भिक शिक्षा माता एव दीयते उक्तं च नास्ति मातृसमो गुरुः इति प्राचीन कालात् भारतीय समाजे कन्यायाः जन्म विषादकारणम् आसीत् न तु हर्षकारणम् हिंदू परिवारे पुत्र अपेक्षया कन्या सदैव उपेक्षिता आसीत् कन्यायाः सामाजिकः आर्थिकस्य अधिकारः गौण आसीत् कन्यैव सर्वविध दुःख पीडानां हेतु इति मन्यते स्म समाजे तासां विविध नियमानां बन्धनं च अभवतां जन्मकालादेव ताः स्वजन दुःखात् विवाहकाले धनसम्पत्त्यादिकं नयन्ति निष्कर्ष अनेन आलोचनेन इदम् अवगन्तुं शक्यते यत् प्राचीनयुगे नारीणां शिक्षादि विविधस्थलेषु यथा सम्माननं प्रदर्शितं तथा विविधस्थलेषु अवहेलनम् अपि कृतं तथापि वर्तमानकाले अस्माकं संविधाने नारीपुरुषयोः समानाधिकारो उक्तः समाजे नारीणां स्थानं पुनः उत्कृष्टं विधातुं प्रयत्नः क्रियमाणः अस्ति बहुत्र पुत्रकन्यायाः शिक्षाविषये वैषम्यं क्रियते पारम्परिक शिक्षायाः नार्यः वञ्चिता भवन्ति अत्र कारणं तु पुरुषतान्त्रिक समाजस्य अन्धत्वं शिक्षाया अभावश्च शिक्षाया एव नारीणां धृतगौरवस्य पुनरुज्जीवनं सम्भवति एका नारी सुशिक्षिता भवति चेत् तस्या परिवारः समाजस्य सुशिक्षितौ भवतः धन्यवादः
वेदवाङ्मये स्त्रियः लक्ष्मीनाथसमारम्भां नादयामुनिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवम् उपास्महे नमस्सभाय आचार्य वेदवाङ्मये नारीणां स्थानं महत्त्वपूर्णं दृश्यते एव यत्र नार्यस्तु पूज्यन्ते रम्यन्ते तत्र देवताः यत्रास्तु न पूज्यन्ते सर्वास्तत्र फलाक्रियः अर्थात् यस्मिन् कुले महिलाः आराधना भवति तस्मात् देवताः सन्तुष्टाः एव अनुभवन्ति पूज्यन्ते इत्युक्ते चेत् यस्मिन् कस्मिन् कुले वा भवतु नार्याः पूज्यमेव तत् विना तेषां कुलं वर्धनं वा भवतु कर्म वा भवतु निष्फलमेव इति अनिदा महिला नारी स्त्री गृहलक्ष्मी गृहपत्नी धर्मपत्नी विभिन्न नामानि एव एक स्त्रीणां स्त्री बालिका पुत्री कन्या पत्नी माता तादृशं स्त्रीणां वर्धनं गृहलक्ष्मी इति गृहप्रवेशः समये पत्योः नक्षत्रं नैव पत्न्याः नक्षत्रमेव दृष्ट्वा दिनाङ्कः निर्णयन्ति लोके समाजे नारायणस्य वक्षस्थले लक्ष्म्याः वासं शिवस्य शरीरे अर्धभागं अर्थनारीश्वरः इति तादृशं स्त्रीणां स्थानं महत्त्वमेव ऋग्वेदे 25 महिलाः सन्ति याः मन्त्रान् दृष्टवत्यः तासु मुख्यतः सन्ति अतिथिः अपला उर्वशी लोकमुद्रा सूर्यं सावित्री गार्गी घोषा मैत्रेयी च एताः 25 संख्याताः अधिकान् मन्त्रान् दृष्टवत्यः एतेषु मन्त्रेषु विवाहसन्दर्भस्य सूर्यसावित्रीमन्त्रः अत्यन्तं प्रसिद्धः अस्ति एवं महिलानां पुरुषाणां वा कोऽपि भेदः नास्ति अस्माकं भारतीयपरम्परायां वैदिककाले स्वयंवरं प्राप्ताः द्रौपदी महाभारते सीता रामायणे द्रष्टुं शक्यते नलदमयन्त्याः अपि विवाहसमये लक्ष्मीरूपं वधुः वरः नारायणरूपम् इति अर्धो वा एषः आत्मनः यत्र पत्नी तैत्रिय श्रिया वा एतत् रूपं यत् पत्न्यः तैत्रिय एव अयज्ञो वा एषः यो अपत्न्यः तैत्रिय ब्राह्मणे अपत्नीकः पत्नीं तां विना कर्मकार्यं वा भवतु पूजाकार्यं वा भवतु अतिथिसंस्कारं वा भवतु रामायणे नास्ति एव रामायणे द्रष्टुं शक्यते यागविषये वा रामायणे वयं द्रष्टुं शक्यते यदा सीताविनां रामः यागं करोति सत्यते एकसीतारूपम् एकं शिला स्वीकृत्य एव कृतवान् इति अन्यथा गङ्गायां वयं काश्यां वयं द्रष्टुं शक्यते रामलक्ष्मणः किं द्वयोः अपि पितृकार्यं कर्तुं तत् सर्ववस्तूनि सङ्ग्रहं कर्तुं गतवन्तः तदा तत् समयः जातः इति कारणे सीता किं कृतवती पितॄणां कार्यं कृतवती पुनः तत् समयः जातः एव पुनः रामः आगत्य सर्वं निर्णयं सर्वं वस्तूनि गृहीत्य पाकं सर्वं करोति इति सा सीता किम् उक्तवती मया पूर्वमेव कृतम् इति रामः पृष्टवान् भवती सा महिला अस्ति भवती करोति चेत् पितरः कथं तत् गृह्णाति इति वदन्ति मया कृतम् इति सा उक्तवती परन्तु सः रामः न अङ्गीकृतं सः दशरथः उक्तवान् सा कृतवती मया सन्तुष्टेन स्वीकृतम् इति तत्समये एव सः रामः सर्वेषां पृष्टवान् सा कृतं वा सर्वे दृष्टवन्तः वा इति सर्वे असत्यम् उक्तवन्तः कारणेन इदानीमपि काश्यामेव धेनुः किम् अस्ति मा इति न शब्दं न करोति इति तादृशं वदन्ति एव तादृशं भवति एव अनन्तरं माता पञ्चमातरः पूज्यन्ते इति विदुरनीतिमध्ये अस्ति पञ्चमातरः इति स्वस्य माता अस्ति अनन्तरं गुरोः पत्नी अनन्तरं राजमाता तादृशं पञ्चमातरः पूज्यन्ते इति विदुरनीतिमध्ये पूज्यते या सा माता इति मीमांसे माता निर्माता भवति महर्षि यास्कवल्क्येन यमयमि संवादं भागवतपुराणे दृश्यते एव सभा समिति परिषत् राष्ट्रम् इत्यादि आसन् सदस्याः अपि भवितुम् अर्हन्ति महिलाः विवाहे अपि भागम् ऊढ्य मुख्य निर्णयं कृतयाः इति याज्ञवल्क्ये वयं द्रष्टुं शक्यते भगवान् आराधनायाय योग्याः अपि तु मन्त्रान् स्वयं रचयितुम् अपि भारतीयनार्याः समर्थाः आसन् अस्माकं भारतदेशे बहवः नद्यः तासां नामानि स्त्री एव गङ्गे च यमुने चैव गोदावरी नर्मदे इति नद्याः नामानि अपि भवति एव महिलानां स्वतन्त्रं शक्तिः भवति रणभूमे युद्धभूम्याः अपि भागं गृहीताः उदाहरणं रामायणे कुन्ती सीता सादृशं कृतवन्तः इति दृष्टुम् अस्तु अस्तु यज्ञयज्ञे स्त्रियः भागं गृहीताः तासां भागं महत्त्वमेव पुरुषः इव कार्यं कृतः तासां सहायं विना यागं पूर्णं न भवति इति अधिकारम् उदाहरणं रामायणे द्रष्टुं शक्यते अन्यथा अन्यथा एककुले एकपुत्रः वा पुत्री वा जातं चेत् पुत्रस्य किम् अस्ति तस्य कुलस्य वर्धनाय एव तस्य सर्वकार्यं पूजा वा सर्वकार्यं भवति। पुत्री किं भवति, पुत्र्याः विवाह अनन्तरं सा किं भवति तत्र तस्य कुलवर्धनाय एव भवति, तस्य जन्मकुल इति वर्धनाय भवति। उदाहरणनिमित्तं अद्य किं भवति, एतत् दीपं कार्तिकदीपं भवति, अद्य दीपज्वालनसमये सा यद् विवाहम् अनन्तरं गजदीपम् इति एकदीपं ज्वालयति। किमर्थम् इत्युक्ते तस्य सहोदराणां सन्तुष्टाय वर्धनाय सौभाग्याय तद् भवति। अन्यथा भवति इदानीं तत् अन्यथा किं भविष्यति, इदानीं मकरसङ्क्रान्तिः इति भविष्यति, तत्र प्रथमदिनं मकरसङ्क्रान्तिः भवति, अग्रिमदिने तमिळ् मध्ये भवति कणुपोङ्गल् इति। तत्र किम् अस्ति, महिलाः किं भवति इति एतत् सहोदराणां कारणेन प्रातःकाले एतत् कणुपोङ्गल् इति एतदपि कुर्वन्ति एव। तादृशं महिलानां स्वकुटुम्ब अपेक्षया तत्र सहोदराणाम् अपि तत् कुर्वन्ति एव। अस्तु, धन्यवादः। जयतु भारतं, जयतु संस्कृतं। धन्यवादः।
अभी आचार्य सुरभि जी से प्रार्थना करता हूँ, आप अपना अध्यक्षीय भाषण है यथेष्टम आप कर सकते हैं। आप ही का अंतिम भाषण है। प्रतिज्ञा जी जब तक रोकते नहीं है तब तक कर सकते हैं।
सभी विद्वज्जनों को मेरा सादर नमन, सभी जो भी शोधार्थी हैं और बाकी सभी जो श्रोता हैं उनको भी मेरा सादर नमन। अभी कल से हम लोग वेदों में नारी का क्या स्थान है इसी विषय पर लगातार चर्चाएं सुन रहे हैं। बहुत सारे कोटेशंस ऐसे हैं जो बार बार रिपीट भी हो रहे हैं। तो अभी मैं बैठ कर के सोच रही थी कि वैसे तो चाहे हम नहीं जानते थे कि वेदों में हमारा क्या स्वरूप बताया गया है, लेकिन अभी इतने सारे विद्वानों को सुनकर के हमें कम से कम इतना पता लगा कि आखिर वेद में हमारे लिए क्या कहा गया है। अभी तक तो हम उस विषय को छू ही नहीं रहे थे, हम जा ही नहीं रहे थे वेदों तक कि वेदों में हमारे लिए हमारी किस स्वरूप का वर्णन किया है। और जैसे प्रातःकाल के सेशन में एक दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी से जो बहन थी वो कुछ समस्याएं रख रही थी, तो मुझे लगता है कि जो समस्याएं अभी हमारे सामने दिखती हैं उनके समाधान के लिए मतलब कहीं ना कहीं हम अपने आप में ही कुछ मिस कर रहे हैं कि जो हम अपने स्वरूप को वेद की दृष्टि में जान ही नहीं पाए हैं। तो उसमें जो भी समस्याएं भी हमारे साथ बनी हुई हैं, तो मुझे लगता है कि यदि हम अपने प्राचीन स्वरूप को या वेदों में वर्णित स्वरूप को अगर हम पहले स्वयं समझेंगे, उसके अनुसार हम आचरण करें, आगे बढ़ें, तो वो समस्याएं कुछ हद तक हम दूर कर सकते हैं। कुछ समस्याएं तो ऐसी हैं कि जो दूसरे की मेंटलिटी पर ही डिपेंड हैं, तो वो उनको लेकिन कुछ हद तक हम अपनी समस्याओं को दूर कर सकते हैं। सबसे पहले प्रोफेसर आदरणीय श्री राधा कृष्णन जी ने जो नारी का स्थान वेद में क्या है उसके लिए सबसे अधिक फोकस जो था उनका उसके मातृ स्वरूप पर, कि जो सबसे बड़ी शक्ति है वो माता के रूप में है नारी। और बार बार हम सुन ही रहे हैं माता निर्माता भवती, तो सबसे पहला कार्य तो निर्माण करने का ही है और संतान का निर्माण करना ही सबसे मुख्य कार्य है, क्योंकि संतान तो एक इकाई है, राष्ट्र की एक इकाई है। संतान से चल करके हम परिवार, समाज, राष्ट्र और फिर पूरे विश्व को आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं। और बहुत सारी बातें उन्होंने एक विशेष बात जैसे एक कोट किया था, पितॄणाम च शतम माता गौरवेणातिरिच्यते, कि पिता की अपेक्षा यद्यपि पिता का भी बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण स्थान है गृहस्थाश्रम में, संतान के निर्माण में। 5 वर्ष तक महर्षि दयानंद ने सत्यार्थ प्रकाश के द्वितीय समुल्लास में लिखा है कि 5 वर्ष तक तो बालक की जो माता है, गुरु है, वो माता होती है, और उसके बाद 8वें वर्ष तक पिता होता है। लेकिन जो सबसे प्राइमरी टीचर जो है वो तो माता ही है। उसका बहुत ही शिक्षित होना, संस्कारित होना, उसके अपने स्वरूप को पहचानना बहुत ही आवश्यक है। जब तक वो स्वयं अपने स्वरूप को नहीं पहचानेगी तो अपने आने वाली संतति में कैसे उसको वो ट्रांसफ़र कर सकती है। और इसके बाद श्री विनोद मुरली जी ने एक अलग एस्पेक्ट से बात रखी, जो हम माता और भगिनी, पुत्री आदि बहुत सारे रूपों में उसको देख रहे हैं, लेकिन वो 2 ही बातों पर विशेष अपना फोकस रखा, ऋषिका और ब्रह्मवादिनी। तो ऋषिका और ब्रह्मवादिनी शब्द ही हमें ये बताते हैं कि जो ये बात समाज में कहीं मध्यकाल में प्रचलित थी कि स्त्रियों को शिक्षा का अधिकार नहीं है, इसको ये पूरी तरह से रिजेक्ट करती हैं। शब्द ही हमें बता रहे हैं ऋषयो मंत्र दृष्टारः, जैसे ही ऋषि हैं वैसे ही ऋषिकाएं। तो अगर वो मंत्र दृष्टा हैं, मंत्रों का व्याख्यान कर सकती हैं। और ब्रह्मवादिनी शब्द का भी अर्थ उन्होंने बताया कि ब्रह्म वदती थी ब्रह्मवादिनी, जो ब्रह्म को बताने वाली, अर्थात वो दार्शनिक चर्चाओं में भी हिस्सा लेती थी। और बार बार हम गार्गी और मैत्रेयी का नाम सुन रहे हैं, जो कि शंकराचार्य के साथ भी जिन्होंने शास्त्रार्थ किया और शास्त्रार्थ में निर्णायक भी बनी थी। इसी प्रकार से आगे प्रोफेसर आदरणीय मदन मोहन जी की एक बात जो सनातन धर्म के बारे में वो बोल रहे थे कि सनातन धर्म का अर्थ है वेद, और वेद में जो कुछ भी बहुत सारे विषय प्रतिपादित किए हैं, लेकिन हम एक ही टॉपिक को लेकर के चल रहे हैं, वेदेषु नारीणाम स्थानम, वेदों में नारियों का क्या स्थान है। तो एक मंत्र उन्होंने सबसे पहले कोट किया, स्तुता मया वरदा वेद माता। तो ये हमारी भारतीय परंपरा, वैदिक परंपरा है कि जो भी उसके पास कुछ श्रेष्ठ होता है, अच्छा होता है, रमणीय होता है, उसको वो नारी के रूप में, स्त्री के रूप में, माता के रूप में उसको पूज्य मानता है, सम्माननीय मानता है। इसलिए हमारे यहाँ वेद माता, पृथ्वी माता, गौ माता और नदी को, यहाँ तक कि नदी को भी हम गंगा माँ कह करके पुकारते हैं। तो ये बहुत ही एक, और बार बार वही फिर आता है कि माता निर्माता भवति। सबसे पहला काम है निर्माण करना संतान से, वो संतान से ही शुरू होता है। और एक माता के रूप में, एक इधर तो माता के रूप में गृहस्थाश्रम में, और जो गुरुकुल में जब बच्चे पढ़ने जाते हैं तो वहाँ पर जो आचार्य होते हैं वो ही उनके माता के रूप में, माता पिता के रूप में होते हैं। तो वहाँ पर वो अपने शिष्यों के रूप में अपने संतानों का निर्माण करते हैं, और घर में जो माता है वो अपने पुत्र पुत्री के रूप में अपनी संतानों का निर्माण करती है। और माता के स्वरूप के अतिरिक्त और भी कई स्वरूप हमने वेदों के माध्यम से, वेदों के मंत्रों के माध्यम से देखे हैं। जैसे एक मंत्र था, अहम केतुरहम मूर्धा अहम उग्रा विवाचनी, मैं इस समाज की पताका हूँ, मैं इस समाज का मस्तिष्क रूप हूँ। मतलब मैं ही हर जो भी निर्णायक क्षमता है, मस्तिष्क का मतलब निर्णायक क्षमता, तो हर विषय में निर्णय लेने वाली, हर विषय में सही गलत बताने वाली, मैं एक विशेष भूमिका निभाने वाली हूँ। और मैं विवाचनी हूँ। विवाचनी अर्थात मैं विवाचनी का अर्थ है उपदेशिका, और वाद विवाद करने वाली, वाद विवाद मीन्स शास्त्रार्थ करने वाली। तो और ममता जी ने उनका विषय था वैदिक साहित्य नारी चेतना। तो चेतना को लेकर के अपना विषय रखा। चेतना अर्थात जागरूकता सभी कार्यों में, चाहे हम गृहस्थ आश्रम में हों या हम अपने किसी प्रोफेशन में हैं या हम किसी भी क्षेत्र में जहाँ भी हमें कोई दायित्व मिला है वहाँ पर हम जागरूकता के साथ अपने कार्य करते हैं। तो चेतना के रूप में जहाँ जहाँ नारी का वर्णन है, उषा सूक्त का नाम लिया उन्होंने, उषा सूक्त, वाक सूक्त, सरस्वती सूक्त, सभी ये बुद्धिमत्ता को दिखाने वाले और जागरूकता को, अर्थात इससे पता लगता है कि स्त्री जो नारी है, जो हम नारी शक्ति हैं, वो बहुत ही हमें सोच विचार कर कार्य करना चाहिए। कोई भी कार्य बिना सोचे विचारे नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि हमारा तो नाम ही सरस्वती, उषा का मतलब ही यही है कि वो जैसे प्रातःकाल जागरण का समय होता है, तो हमें सबको जागरूक होकर के रहना है हर एक क्षेत्र में। और उसके बाद समीर जी ने वैदिक समाजे शिक्षायाम संस्कृतौ च नारीणाम स्थानम, तो उन्होंने एक मंत्र कोट किया जिसका अर्थ यही है, जैसे इंग्लिश में एक सेंटेंस है, इफ वी एजुकेट अ सन वी एजुकेट द वन एंटिटी ओनली, बट इफ वी एजुकेट अ डॉटर वी एजुकेट द एंटायर सोसाइटी। तो इसको सभी समझते ही हैं, ज़्यादा व्याख्या करने की आवश्यकता नहीं है कि यदि हम एक पुत्र को शिक्षित करते हैं तो हम सिर्फ एक पुत्र को ही शिक्षित करते हैं, और यदि हम नारी को, पुत्री को शिक्षित करते हैं तो आप ये समझिए कि आप पूरे समाज को ही शिक्षित कर रहे हैं। और एक ब्रह्मवादिनी का वर्णन उन्होंने भी किया। ब्रह्मवादिनी और एक सद्योवधू, दो प्रकार की स्त्रियां हमारे प्राचीन शास्त्रों में, उपनिषदों में इनका वर्णन आता है। तो ब्रह्मवादिनी के बारे में मैंने बताया कि जो शास्त्रार्थ करने में समर्थ हैं, जो सही गलत का निर्णय कर सकती हैं और किसी निर्णायक क्षमता रखती हैं और दार्शनिक विषयों में भी चर्चा कर सकती हैं, अर्थात ब्रह्म के विषय में भी, जो आगे आत्मा, परमात्मा, ब्रह्म और आगे जो इस तरह के तत्व हैं उनके बारे में चर्चाएं कर सकती हैं। और एक सद्योवधू होती थी, जो एक ऐसी स्त्रियां होती थी जो ब्रह्मचर्य आश्रम में ही रहती थी, ब्रह्मचर्य आश्रम में रहते हुए आगे संन्यास आश्रम को ग्रहण करती थी। और दूसरे प्रकार की स्त्रियां ऐसी थी जो कि अपना अध्ययन समाप्त करने के बाद विवाहिता होती थी, गृहस्थ आश्रम में प्रवेश करती थी। तो इनमें हम सब गार्गी, मैत्रेयी, लोपामुद्रा, अपाला, घोषा, बहुत सारी ऋषिकाओं के, ब्रह्मवादिनियों के नाम हम सुन ही रहे हैं। और अंत में डॉक्टर गजलक्ष्मी जी ने भी नारी और नर, जो भी हम इक्वालिटी की बात करते हैं, तो उसके विषय में ही मुख्य रूप से प्रकाश डाला। और सुबह वाले सेशन में आदरणीय श्रीमती डॉक्टर शशि प्रभा कुमार जी ने भी एक बात पर विशेष ध्यान दिलाया कि पाणिनि का एक सूत्र बोलते हुए, पत्युर्नो यज्ञ संयोगे, कि पत्नी शब्द वहाँ से सिद्ध होता है। और यज्ञ संयोग अर्थात यज्ञ में, यज्ञ कार्य, उसके बिना, यज्ञ कार्य अर्थात धर्म कार्य पत्नी के बिना संपन्न ही नहीं हो सकते, स्त्री के बिना संपन्न ही नहीं हो सकते। तो इस प्रकार हम बहुत सारे विषयों को कल से सुन रहे हैं, बहुत सारे रूपों को, बहुत सारे रूप हमारे सामने आए हैं कि नारी को किस रूप में वेदों में वर्णित किया गया है। और तो जैसे एक तरफ तो विदुषी, गार्गी, मदालसा गार्गी हैं और एक तरफ मैत्रेयी हैं। इसी प्रकार से एक मैत्रेयी की कथा भी हम बार बार सुन ही रहे हैं कि मैत्रेयी और कात्यायनी दो पत्नियां थीं याज्ञवल्क्य ऋषि की। तो मैत्रेयी, उनको वैसे तो वो गृहस्थ में थी, लेकिन बाद में उनको जब ये पता लगा कि ऋषि याज्ञवल्क्य अपनी सारी संपत्ति को छोड़ करके वन में जाना चाहते हैं, तो उनको यही लगा कि आप, ऐसा क्या है, इससे भी अच्छा और क्या है कि जिसको आप छोड़ करके वन में जाना चाहते हैं। तो जब उनको कहा कि मैं अपनी संपत्ति का बंटवारा करता हूँ आपके और कात्यायनी के बीच में, तो उन्होंने कहा कि क्या ये धन संपत्ति जो आप मुझे देने वाले हैं, क्या इससे मैं, उन्होंने पूछा कि आप किस लिए जा रहे हैं, तो उन्होंने कहा कि मैं अमरत्व की खोज में जा रहा हूँ। तो उन्होंने कहा कि क्या इस धन से मुझे अमरत्व मिल जाएगा, तो उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं, ये तो अमरत्व का तो हेतु नहीं है। तो फिर उन्होंने एक ही वाक्य बोला कि न हम तेन कुर्याम ये ना हम नामृता श्याम कि न हम तेन कुर्याम। यदि आप इसको छोड़ करके जा रहे हैं अमरत्व के लिए, कुछ अच्छी चीज पाने के लिए, तो मैं छोटी चीज को मैं क्यों लूं, तो मैं भी उसी के, यदि मैं इससे अमरता को प्राप्त नहीं कर सकती, आप नहीं कर सकते, तो मैं भी नहीं कर सकती हूँ, तो ये मुझे नहीं चाहिए। और इसी प्रकार से वेद में जहाँ नारी को माता, पुत्री, भगिनी अनेक रूपों में दर्शाया, वहीं पर वीरांगना का एक वीरांगना स्वरूप भी उसका प्रकट हुआ है, और वो खुद भी वीरांगना है और वीर प्रसवा भी है, अर्थात वीरों को जन्म देने वाली भी है। वहां पर एक मंत्र आता है ऋग्वेद में, मम पुत्राः शत्रुहणो अथो में दुहिता विराट अहमस्मि संजया पत्यो में श्लोक आहितः। मतलब मैं स्वयं, मेरे जो पुत्र हैं, और वहां दोनों बातें कहेंगी, पुत्र तो मेरे शत्रुओं पर विजय करने वाले हैं, और जो मेरी पुत्री है वो भी पुत्र से कम नहीं है, वो भी विराट है, वो भी तेजस्विनी है, कांतिमयी है। तो उस प्रकार से हम बहुत सारे स्वरूपों को देख रहे हैं, जान रहे हैं इस गोष्ठी के माध्यम से। तो मुझे लगता है कि ये बहुत बड़ा लाभ हमें इस गोष्ठी से हो रहा है कि हम अपने वैदिक स्वरूप को, जो कि हम कोई हेतु बनता है, किसी चीज़ को, किसी काम को करने का कोई हेतु बन जाता है, अभी तक वो सामने नहीं आ रहा था। तो इस गोष्ठी के माध्यम से जिन्होंने अपने शोध पत्र भी प्रस्तुत किए हैं, या हम सभी जो श्रोता भी हैं, जिस विषय को हम स्वयं नहीं पढ़ पा रहे थे, नहीं उसके ऊपर विचार कर पा रहे थे, तो शोधार्थियों को भी एक अवसर मिला उसको समझने का, सुनने का, और हमें स्वयं भी अपने स्वरूप को जानने का कि आखिर वेद में जो सबसे अधिक ऑथेंटिक शास्त्र जिसको हम कह सकते हैं किसी भी विषय में, तो उसमें हमारा क्या स्वरूप है, हम स्वयं अपने स्वरूप को पहचानें। और जब हम स्वयं अपने स्वरूप को पहचानेंगे तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि जो दूसरी चीज़ें हैं वो हम पर हावी हो पाएंगी। पहले हम स्वयं अपनी शक्ति को पहचानें, अपनी अस्मिता को पहचानें, और उसके बाद उस पर आचरण करते हुए सही रास्ते पर, जो सही है उसको करते चले जाएं, जो गलत है उसको छोड़ते चले जाएं, इस प्रकार से आगे बढ़ते चले जाएं। और आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। सादरम नमो नमः।
प्रोफेसर मदन मोहन जी, मदन मोहन जी, डॉक्टर मोहन, ममिता मन्ना, समीरा है, ए उधर से वो नारी से इतना डरते हैं हाँ, नारियों के बीच में जाने के लिए डर, वो भी जहाँ ला के भी है। क्या हाँ ठीक है, अब वहीं पर आपका विदाई नहीं है।
ओम। आज द्वितीय दिवस के इस सत्र को हम यहाँ समाप्त करने जा रहे हैं। आपने अभी डॉक्टर सुरभि जी से इस सत्र का संपूर्ण विश्लेषण सुना है, तो मैं उनके बारे में थोड़ा सा यहाँ बता देना चाहूँगी। हमारे लिए आवश्यक होता है हम सभी एक दूसरे से परिचित हों, तभी हमारा ये संगठन मजबूत होगा। तो डॉक्टर सुरभि जी जो हैं, डॉक्टर सुमेधा जी और डॉक्टर सुकामा जी जो हमारे बीच में उपस्थित ही हैं, उनकी शिष्या रही हैं और लंबे समय तक उन्होंने गुरुकुल चोटीपुरा में अपना अध्ययन किया है। और वर्तमान में आप विश्ववारा कन्या गुरुकुल जो है, जिसके बारे में आप लगातार सुन ही रहे हैं, आचार्य जी हमारे बीच में हैं, उसमें उपाचार्य के रूप में आप नियुक्त हैं और आप अपनी लगातार सेवाएं दे रही हैं। और इनका दूसरा संकल्प जो है वह आजीवन अविवाहिता रह के ब्रह्मचर्य व्रत में रहती हुए आजीवन आचार्य जी की तरह ही इस कार्य को आगे बढ़ाएंगी। और ये बहुत ही विलक्षण है, बहुत ही कम हमको देखने को मिलेगा कि आज के समय में जो गुरु शिष्य परंपरा है, उस परंपरा में यदि गुरु को, आचार्य को, यदि एक भी शिष्य ऐसा मिल जाए जो उसको ये आश्वासन दे दे कि मैं आगे इस संस्था को, आप चाहे प्रचार के लिए चाहें या मेरे सहयोग में जितने भी समय रहें, पर मैं इसको चला दूंगा, तो ऐसी विलक्षण प्रतिभा उनको मिल गई है। तो मैं आचार्य जी की तरफ से भी ये सोच रही हूँ यहाँ खड़े हुए कि उनको भी कितनी संतुष्टि होगी कि इतनी कन्याओं को उन्होंने निकाला, तैयार किया, और उसमें से यदि एक कन्या भी ऐसी बन जाए जो कि गुरुकुल को, पीएचडी करने वाले तो आचार्य जी ने बहुत निकाले, बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो उच्च पदों पे विराजमान है भारतवर्ष में, परंतु गुरुकुल को, आर्ष परंपरा को अपना जीवन अविवाहित रूप में ब्रह्मचर्य व्रत में रहते हुए यापन करना ये कठिन कार्य है। तो मैं आपका साधुवाद करती हूँ, आप यहाँ आई और हम सबके बीच में आपने आज इस सत्र को बहुत सुंदर रूप से यहाँ पर हमारे समक्ष रखा भी है। तो आइए अभी हम इसको समाप्त करेंगे। इस सत्र के बाद जो है आज एक मूवी का सत्र हमने रखा है, कल तो हम कर नहीं पाए थे। 5 से 6 क्या लोग थे वो दीवाने, सुबह पीयूष जी ने रखा ही था इस विषय के बारे में कि मध्यकालीन जो अवस्था थी उसमें स्त्री की जो स्थिति पहुंच गई थी, उसमें कुछ विशेष आर्य समाज के ऐसे विशिष्ट व्यक्ति रहे जिन्होंने अपने जीवन को उनकी सुरक्षा के लिए, उनकी शिक्षा के लिए, उनके उद्धार के लिए जो समर्पित किया। उसके ऊपर विचार फाउंडेशन ने उस पर बहुत सुंदर फिल्में बनाई हैं। तो आज उसका प्रसारण हम 5 से 6 करेंगे। और हमारा ये सौभाग्य भी है कि अब हम स्वामी दयानंद के ऊपर अगले 2 महीने के अंदर बड़े पर्दे पे उस फिल्म को विचार फाउंडेशन के माध्यम से ही दिखाने जा रहे हैं। और उसमें बहुत मुख्य किरदार के रूप में जो भूमिका निभाई है हमारे पीयूष जी, जो कि संरक्षक हैं वैदिक विद्या केंद्र के, उनका सहयोग इस विचार फाउंडेशन की जो मूवी है उसमें डायरेक्टर के रूप में पहले भी रहा और अभी भी उनका सहयोग है। और हमारे बीच में उत्तम जी हैं जो कि कैमरे का कार्य संभाल रहे हैं, तो उन्होंने भी उस फिल्म में स्क्रिप्ट राइटिंग का काम किया है और बहुत अच्छा सहयोग दिया है। तो एक सम्मिलित एक प्रयास जब होता है तो मुझे लगता है कि कुछ विशेष निकल के आता है। और आइए अब इस सत्र को हम यहाँ समाप्त करेंगे। एक बार ओम का उच्चारण कर 3 बार शांति बोलेंगे। शांति शांति शांति। सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। रात्रि को भी एक हमारे 6 से 7 जो है ध्यान का सत्र रहता है। फॉर्मली 6:20 से वो आरंभ होता है, 7 बजे तक चलेगा। 7 बजे भोजन आरंभ हो जाएगा आपका। और 8 से 9 जो है आचार्य जी का एक मुख्य प्रवचन रहेगा, जो इस सत्र से अलग आध्यात्मिक प्रवचन होगा। तो जो भी ऑन कैंपस है वो सब उनका लाभ उठावें। ओम।